Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Elden Ring Unpatched, our Fear the Old Lore playthrough of the 1.00 version of the game. Hope you're all doing well. Nice to have you all back in the chat, Mortis and Nightbot. So yesterday we left off going through most of the NPC quests that were available in Liurnia. So we did Latenna's stuff. We did all of Hayata's stuff that we could, meeting Vike. I got Hoarfrost Steppe, as it's known in this version of the game. And what we have next to do is more or less like Raya Lucaria and Caria Manor. We also got a Celestial Dew by Raya Lucaria to be able to unaggro Blaidd, because we couldn't meet Iji and everybody before. So I brought us back to Mistwood so I would remember to do that at the beginning of the stream to be able to talk to him near the little church thing. So that's what we're going to do. I'm trying to remember if there's too much else over here. I think there's a set of tears by the minor Erd tree. I don't remember if we actually picked that up or not. So I know we sent Blaidd down once, so he should still be down here, I would hope. Mistwood Derelict. I'm pretty sure he was on the other side of the rune bear. I'm definitely not going to hit that rune bear and piss it off again. So if I snap and Blaidd isn't here, I'm going to reload the area again. And hopefully that will fix it, because he should be right here. Okay. So let's try our little emote. Finger snap. Okay, I saw him jump down. Hopefully. Hey, we got him this time. Sweet. Mercy, Vacuous, welcome back. There's a video saying Gold Mask is the best ending. I might need to watch that, because I don't feel like I fully have a handle on it, to be honest.
Who goes there? Carly sent you, did he? Ever the bloody busybody. Maybe to him you don't seem so strange. The name's Blaidd. I'm looking for a man who goes by Darriwil. He fled somewhere nearby. Or so I've heard. Come tell me if you find him before I do. I can offer you ample reward. Darriwil is nothing but a traitor, and in need of a fitting end to his tale.
So that's pretty much it with Blaidd for now. Obviously, his name looks like it's spelled like Blade, but I forget if it's Welsh specifically, but it's one of those weird languages like that. So it's pronounced Blaidd, like somebody's blithely unaware, kind of, I think. And with him talking about Darriwil, that's kind of always interested me, that Darriwil is a traitor, because the Bloodhound Knight armor set says that the Bloodhound Knights are loyal to their master forever, once they choose their master. So if Darriwil is a traitor, that would kind of go against the nature of the Bloodhound Knights. But then again, it's possible that Darriwil could have had a different master and just kind of followed that master's orders to just kind of get on Ranni's good side. But we don't know the specifics of how he's a traitor. And as I mentioned in the short I posted yesterday, I believe, the Black Wolf mask in the Japanese version says that it was worn by someone who would try to cause harm to Ranni, whereas the English just says it belonged to an assassin, which could make it sound like it was Ranni's assassin, but Ranni's assassin is an assassin who works for Ranni, not one who tried to kill Ranni. It's a little bit ambiguous in that. So I think, is this summon site inside the Everjail? Maybe it is. Alright. Or is that it? No, those are just flowers. Okay. So the Darriwil stuff is a little bit strange to me overall. I don't know if Darriwil would have been the one to have worn the Black Wolf mask. I don't really believe that, but that's just kind of a question I posed with the short, just to spicing it up a little bit. But yeah. Vacuum says, you don't know about that. Gold mask perfects the ideology of the Golden Order, as we've seen in the game, is not a good thing. Yeah, okay, Blaidd as well. Thank you, Mortis. And the manga made a gag reason for why Darriwil's a traitor. I heard about that, but I don't actually know what it is. I haven't really looked at the manga. Magister Ludi, welcome in. You said, do I think there's do you think there's a connection between the Bloodhound Knights and the Shadowhound Beasts? I think the Bloodhound Knights are like a poor man's version of a Shadowhound Beast, if that makes sense. Like, I think they're meant to kind of serve in that capacity, but they're vastly inferior. I think Vargrim would probably be closer to the side of a Bloodhound Knight than like a full-on Shadow. There's some weird Randy fan club disagreement. Okay. So we can summon Blaidd for this. He's Blaidd the Half-Wolf. I guess I can show this off here. One of the cooler things I found about Blaidd in particular
is no true justice. No. This is where it ends for you.
Is that he has purple. Damn it. He has this guy. I don't think I can actually get a good look at him. He has purple eyes. Okay, we'll do it after the fight. So yeah, he has purple eyes, and we're just gonna kind of choose like the Hoarfrost Stomp for now. And let's stick it out with the Twin Blade, because we don't really need this with the summon, I don't think. I was gonna use like Hoarfrost Step to just like hasten up the game, but shouldn't be too necessary. Bloodhound Knight Darriwil. So he's just as big as Blaidd. So if he were to like wear a, oh wow. If he were to wear, like, a mask, I could see why... Oh, yeah, we're over-leveled for this part now. I could see how he might be able to be confused for Blaidd, but if anything, he's actually bigger. So, we still get the Bloodhound's Fang. And that's that. Ludi says... In the manga, Blaidd and Darriwil are fighting over whose homemade Ranni replica doll fits her likeness best. Oh, I think I've seen like a meme about that, now that you mention it that way. So I think when we talk to Blaidd, the moon will appear. Like, no matter the time of day. It's evening, so this shouldn't affect things too much, but if it's cloudy, it might get covered up. I don't know. So, still have my telescope out. If we look at Blaidd's eyes closely, we can see that they have like a violet iris, which might be kind of related to the beast eye or beast eyes in general. When we fight him as the baleful shadow, he does use the red-black flames of destined death, which is kind of interesting. When he should be using like ice magic if he's fully under like Ranni's patronage, I guess. But even if you fight Blaidd beforehand, he doesn't actually use ice in his attacks until after he's defeated as the Baleful Shadow and Ranni kills her two fingers. So, I'm not entirely sure what to make of that. I think despite Blaidd being pledged to Ranni, he can't fully do that because of his nature being tied to the two fingers. So he's kind of a tragic character, I think. Hey, Old Augusto, nice to see you in.
Right. There you are. I'll have to work for it, but...
Okay, there's the moon.
Don't say I'm not a man of my word. Here's your prize.
So that's something that kind of happens fairly often with Ranni's quest. Whenever you talk to her or her subordinates, the moon can appear. It didn't appear in this version when we first talked to her at Ella Church, which was kind of interesting to me, but... if anything, that just goes to show, like, they polished it to make it more of a thing later on.
Oh, yes. I should say, if you venture north to Rea Lucaria and come across a venerable blacksmith who's a little on the large side, tell him I sent you, and he'll be sure to treat you right. I owe you one, I reckon.
So that's the reference to EG. When I first did this, it took me a while to get to Blaidd. I was, a little leveled up. And so I didn't know where to get more smithing stone, so I tried to follow his directions. So I ended up going to Liurnia fairly early to look for EG, specifically to level up my weapon. Little did I know, I didn't look for EG in the right place. I eventually found, the bell bearing instead. But, it didn't really help me too much, and I just kind of ended up over-leveling all of, Limgrave at that point. So.
That's enough chit-chat for now. It's time we parted ways.
Alright, now we can go talk to, EG and all that, and more or less really start the Carian quest. I guess we could have talked to EG beforehand, but it's not that big a deal. So I do want to go back to Gael Tunnel and go through there to talk to Alexander, and then do the stuff with Maliketh, and then D in the Round Table Hold before I end up forgetting about it. And now is about as good a time as any, especially since we have the Hoarfrost step. Cantrell, welcome back in. Why would he have ice magic just because he's Ronnie's shadow? You thought it meant it's like he's a bodyguard. So there is the ice pots, I think, and maybe one other item that points out those who've pledged themselves to Ronnie gain the power to use cold magic. Or that's just kind of an incidental thing of being pledged to her, I guess. I don't know the exact specifics about that, but that's kind of what the game says at times. So that's why I think it's weird that he doesn't have ice magic until the two fingers are dead. And to be fair, he does use ice in the final fight in Ronnie's Rise. Or right in front of it, rather. Mort says the amount of thirstiness over Blaidd is insane to the point where a very few lustful tweet by a VTuber had the voice actor shocked. Oof. Eldegusto asks, in Japan, is Shadow an allusion to having a ninja bodyguard? Not necessarily. I mean, you could probably take it that way, but it seems like more of a thing specifically for Elden Ring, because it's not just shadow. They call them shadow beasts a bit more literally in the Japanese. But for what it's worth, the kanji for shadow, kage, can also be used kage musha, which means a doppelganger. There's also a very famous I think it's Akira Torisawa. No. Why am I blanking on his name? A very famous movie called Kagemusha, if you guys haven't seen it. So, oh yeah, we want to go to the tunnel. But may as well go to the Smoldering Church first. Still no monuments. Big surprise. This is the one that says, Godfrey at the end of his journey, something, he leaves. And he goes tarnished. Which I think is a kind of a weird location for this to exist. In terms of his campaign southward. Somebody on one of the previous streams had commented, I guess I'm still in combat, that's unfortunate, had commented that it might be possible the lands between were kind of more coiled up and all stuck together, which I think is a really good possibility that Caelid and the mountaintops were all together. But it's still a little bit weird in terms of where Weeping Peninsula would fit into that. So it's possible their campaign was just kind of a spiral across lands between. Alright, so now we get Anastasia Tarnished Eater. I'm pretty sure she's a recusant. But I think I looked at the invasions, but she's not actually kind of coded as one, despite everything. We can find her in Mount Gelmir and the Mountaintops of the Giants. She eats Tarnished, which is kind of like a snake, but if anything, this is more like a callback to the half-naked ladies with giant butcher swords in Dark Souls 1 and 3. I'm trying to remember her name. It's not Ingrid. Anyway, I think she's just meant to be like a callback to them. So my first time coming through the game, I'd come up here towards the Smoldering Church first. And technically this is no longer in Limgrave when you come up here. Sacred Scorpion Charm. And so when I rested at this side of Grace, Melina told me the round table hold dialogue that she'd been testing me. So I was like, wait, Melina just sent this assassin to try to kill me? Okay, that's interesting. But no, that's not actually the case. Anastasia just invades you whenever when you come up here. Doesn't necessarily have to be linked to Melina. So that kind of threw me for a loop in my later playthroughs. So 2 cookbooks there, and I think Anastasia also had on like the Finger Maiden outfit, but I don't actually think she's a Finger Maiden, so sorry for all that monologuing. Teen Seth, nice to see you again. Vacuous said, thoughts on cut content saying that Miquella and Karya had a good relationship, even the Halig Tree Knights cast sorcery. So, there is the possibility that the Rune of the Unborn could have belonged to Miquella, since it's kind of a mirror of Millennia's Great Rune. But I don't think there's much to argue against Miquella having like a bad relationship with them. So it seems perfectly plausible to me. Kurosawa. Yeah, thank you, Kentrell. Like, I was like, Akira Toriyama. No, that's freaking Dragon Ball. It's definitely Kurosawa. I'm a little bit embarrassed for myself. Maybe killing him frees him to pledge to Ranni. Yeah, I think like he'd pledged himself to Ranni, but he'd already had like pre-existing obligations that prevented that pledge from fully taking effect, essentially. Elda says, the Shadows of Yarn were also like Ninja Bodyguard / Assassins too. Yeah, and that's another fair comparison. So you might like take the whole ninja thing to be like that, but like if you just think of how it like works in English, like somebody trails you, they're a shadow. That's kind of analogous to how it works in Japanese. Maneater Mildred, thank you. Does she have the same name between Dark Souls 1 and 3? I thought there were 2 different versions. And I actually don't remember if there's one of her in Dark Souls 2. There probably is, but I kind of try to block Dark Souls 2 out of my memory, if I'm being completely honest. Hey, Corporate Nothing, welcome back. You get the 2 Miyazakis confused trying to remember their first name? Oh, Hidetaka and Hayao, I'm assuming. Yeah, it's funny. Every once in a while, I like to make a joke about like a Dark Souls and like a Studio Ghibli movie being kind of in the same universe. How funny would that have been if it just like broke and killed me there? So we're going to go in the back way through Gael Tunnel. I definitely made this mistake my first playthrough, like I wasn't quite leveled up enough to deal with this place. I wouldn't say Dark Souls 2 had no passion. I think it just like ended up in a bit of a development hell. Does not open from the side, because why would it? Wait. I thought you could go through this side first. That's why I came through this way. Or is there like a place to fall? Maybe not. The annoying thing is like when you go into one of these tunnels, you can't teleport out until you either kill the boss or like leave it. Which, I mean, I understand, but it is a little bit annoying. Okay, so let's go back up to the Rat View balcony into Caelid. Spirited Away, but in the painted world. Oh, I see what you mean, Elder Gusto, about like having certain attendants be shadows. That's more of a like fictional type of thing, as far as I'm aware, than something like actual. But like samurai, daimyo, and stuff, they've always had like attendants, but the whole ninja thing is played up. I'm trying to think of like a good analogy in like Western culture that I could probably compare it to. Anyway, at least for now, coming into Caelid, we can see like a comparison between like a minor Erd tree and the golden tree. And as we come in here, we get like a wave of zombie looking guys that are blighted with scarlet rot. These things are kind of fun to like test weapons against. When you hit them, they bleed almost silver, but it's like pinkish as well because of the blood. or because of the rot, rather. Oh, I got grabbed. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. So I did kill him before. Like, it's really fun to use, like, the dragon breath attacks on this. They do a decent amount of damage. I'm probably going to die. Okay, just barely lived. Yeah, Scarlet Rot is pretty rough. It's like fast-acting poison. Or not fast-acting, but just... Well, I guess it kind of is, at least in this game. And these guys don't really give a ton of runes, but fun enough to go through that. So I need to go to the south, essentially, and like over the cliff to get to the Gael tunnel. This gives us our view into Caelid with a nascent butterfly. It's about time we got one of those. For Princess Mononoke, instead of the curse, it's the rot. Well, depending on like what curse you mean, it can be a bit varied, but like I think Princess Mononoke, like once you get a lot more used to like Japanese culture and the concept of Kegare, it makes a lot more sense. Like I did not understand that movie the first couple times I watched it, because like I watched it when I was in either high school or middle school, like one of those two. But I feel like Princess Mononoke is a good movie to show people who are like interested in Bloodborne but don't really understand the stuff about like Kegare and like its effects on things. To just give like a brief rundown, like the Kegare is like the impurity that affects nature because of like man's actions. Like they disrespect nature and that angers the kami, and that kind of causes the kami, like the spirits of the animal forests and stuff, to get angered and become like literally corrupted themselves. And it gets to the point where it like starts affecting people. Like the protagonist of the story gets I want to say like Kegarade in English, but that's not a real word. So I almost said like Kagarata, but that doesn't really make sense for you guys either. So anyway, like he essentially gets pseudo cursed with like the filth, and that's why he needs to go like cleanse himself by like the forest god. And there's a lot of really cool duality between like life and death with the kind of goat looking sheep forest spirit thing. Elda says like Sheikah and Zelda are a clan dedicated to the Hyrule nobility. Yeah, but just keep in mind that's like a fictional thing, not like super realistic, obviously. And so shadows are definitely like a thing in like fiction, but just saying shadow doesn't necessarily mean like ninja, I guess is what I'm trying to impress. Okay, you're not saying all the Goku ninja lore is real, you're just noticing it is a trope. Yeah, and that's kind of how it works. Cosmic rule type of corruption. The logic of the world has tainted physically, and it taints you metaphysically. Yeah. Speaking of which, we have like one of the beast blood pustule things, beast slimes. So this is kind of another good example of Kegare at work in Elden Ring, because death is gone. This amorphous blob of goo cannot die, potentially, would be one way to read this. And so it just becomes like this puddle of filth, this puddle of Kegare, because it's stagnant, essentially. It has no flow. Oh, bleed works pretty well. Okay. Right, so let's make our way towards the tunnel. Trying to remember what the fastest way there is. I can't open the thing because I pissed off the goop. Oh no, it'd be over here. Here we go. The god of the forces, the god of death. It's very cyclical. Yeah. Oh. I wasn't expecting to one-shot it. Okay, so this is the drop that I was thinking of, but I forgot like the front of Gael tunnel is sealed off. It's weird. Large somber smithing stone. And we did get that other smithing stone, which I forgot to look at last stream. So this one has two things on it. Radon soldier gauntlets. Two sides of grace, I mean. Gauntlets used by Caelid Wild's Knights. So, Caelid Wilds is only referenced, I think, like, once in the retail version of the game. I think, like, Sellen or something says it. But this kind of reinforces what the Caelid Wilds were in this version of the game, at least. Oh, yeah. And our golden smithing stone, right? Alright, so that pretty much says the exact same thing. And I'm not going to worry about that then. That's what I get for standing up briefly. Those delayed attacks get you every time. There's the bleed. He's stuck on a box. What an idiot. What a nincompoop. What a maroon. Fringeful rune. Some random land octopi in here. Is this the one with the big one in it? Yeah, okay. Should probably heal, huh? I thought that, like, staggered it for a second, and I was, like, shocked. Yeah, these things are pretty durable, but bleeds and viscerals are kind of the way to go. I guess they're technically not called viscerals in this version of the game. They're just called, like, what, critical strikes? But it's way more satisfying still calling them visceral attacks. Somber, large, hard smithing stone, our first one. Kind of felt like I couldn't walk through that for a second, like it bounced me off a little. I don't know. So I was wondering if there's like actual water physics like that, and I was going to be like slightly impressed. Yeah, it does feel very visceral. Which way shall we deal with this? Probably this guy first. I may have made a goof. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, that's a fiery one. Ruh-roh raggy. I still got clipped by that. So if I remember with the twin blades, the R2 is pretty effective. Even the uncharged version. Sweet. So glowy. Yeah, it's kind of better to not backstab them, just so I could get the bleed proc off faster. Uh-oh. Oh no! Damn. Oh god. I really cut it close there, huh? It's because I didn't actually stagger the one dude like I thought I would. Alright. Gold pickle felt, but it's odd they have references to beings that like aren't part of human demigod society, like the river fairy, ghosts, and spirits. What is the Japanese translation for the river fairy that was in the flowing sword lore? It was like katakana fairy. No, I'm pretty sure it was yosei, which just means like fairy. I don't remember it standing out in any specific way. I'm pretty sure it also used like the same term for fairy as in like the silver cat ring. So I thought there was a dude behind here. Just the dude up top. Okay, okay. Sweet. So Alexander should be like right there. And we should be right by the boss area next. Yep. Boss area. And then Alexander. Yosei, so that is like apparition type of magic being. I would probably like need to study the more Megami Now the door's open? Okay. Okay, game. So yeah, I feel like I would need to like study the etymology of those kinds of like words that they use for the kinds of beings that would appear in like a Shin Megami Tensei game, like stuff like Yosei, Jaki, and stuff. Like I'm a little bit familiar, but not like crazy. So as far as I know, Yosei is kind of fairly specific to fairies or those kinds of like small sprightly beings. Other ones could be like dryads and nymphs, if I'm remembering correctly. So, or I guess Seirei could be more like dryads and nymphs because they're related to like vegetation more. But yeah, that just kind of like goes to show like there might be a bit of overlap, at least with how we deal with the classifications of these kinds of mythical beings in English. And Japanese might be a bit more specific about it, but I should probably look that stuff up a bit more. Corporate says, the rock band Coheed and Cambria writes their music based on the Amory Wars sci-fi story of theirs. And they have a line on the recent album saying a Hallmark card of your fears. So kind of the same as the foul thing, like why does the Hallmark company exist in that universe? Oh, I see what you mean. That's kind of a common like trope that people joke about with like science fiction where like if something takes place in like a completely parallel universe or like galaxy or whatever, some people just say like, oh, that's just like the equivalent of what it would be for us. And like the book is translated into English and that's like, they're not even speaking English and that stuff's even funnier. Scott Lisa, welcome back. Sorry I forgot about the stream yesterday. I know you missed me. It's alright. I appreciate your grandiose return now. Yeah, gotta suspend that disbelief.
This was supposed to be a dead end, I'm sure of it. What's going on here? A door from thin air. Well, stranger things happen at sea, or so I'm told. But onward to the Caelid wilds. Gosh, that dead end had me rather stumped.
So, Alexander is essentially Onion Bro, just being stumped by the most rudimentary of not puzzles. But to be fair, how the heck he gonna fit through either of these doors? Where did he come from? And where did he go, Cotton Eye Joe?
It's time I set off to the festival at Redmane Castle on the southern edge of the scarlet rot blighted Caelid wilds. Doesn't the thought just set your heart aflutter?
Elda says, in Mandarin they translate fairy as Shan, but it was a poor translation by early British scholars. Shan means more immortal or sage in Chinese, which you guess is Sennin in Japanese. Yeah, and the same character as far as I know. Wait, I wonder if this will work for you guys. No, okay. I have an add-on where I can like character lookup, so I was wondering if it would work for the chat, but it doesn't. So like, I'm pretty sure, and I might be, wrong about this because I don't really remember like Naruto lore very much, but Jiraiya and those types of sages are called like Jiraiya Sennin, so checks out, I guess. So yeah, it's literally like the characters for that is a person next to a mountain or in the mountain, I guess. When millennia explodes and just ruins a country. We only have a few years before grown adults don't get the Cotton Eye Joe reference. Good for them. Good for them. He just teeth 1000s through the doors, pretty much. Alright, so I already rested, and next I think we have the Magma Wyrm in this one. Yeah, looks like it. The one Dragon Burnt Ruins tunnel just has like the Falling Star Beast, and that thing terrified the ever-living crap out of me, like being so ridiculously low level to try to deal with that. I was like, I have no idea how people are gonna like try to rune level 1 run this game against that thing specifically. Did someone say Naruto lore? Yeah. There's Sannin? Okay. 3 plus Sennin? Maybe. Oh, okay. Like I said, I don't really remember Naruto lore, so my mistake if I was wrong. But thanks for the clarification. Let me look that up, because now I'm curious. Alright. Oh, okay, Densetsu no Sannin. So yeah, the legendary 3 ninjas. I thought they said Sennin, but I mean, that's what I get for like maybe 15-year-old memory. Holy crap, man. I'm old. Anyway. An Outlaw Star. Ooh, that's a good reference there. The Tao Masters were Senjutsu Masters in Japanese? Okay. I don't think I ever watched Outlaw Star in Japanese. It's a pun in Naruto. They're 3 sages, so they're Sannin as a joke sort of Sennin. Okay, thank you. Kishimoto put so many puns on the character names. I'll need to like revisit that someday, maybe. Magma Wyrm. He's an Angie boy. If I get stomped, I'll switch to the Hoarfrost stomp, I guess, pun intended. I don't know why I'm like trying to actually do jump attacks on this thing, because I'm probably not going to be able to do a ton of damage. Like poise damage, that is. Wait. I just realized I never upgraded my flasks or the physic. And part of the reason why I remembered that is because there is the one physic that allows you to like do extra poise damage, which I'm pretty confident I don't have yet, but it's just I guess ADD moment if I have it. So we could do full HP, dex, and reduce damage by half. That's actually kind of good, but I don't remember how long it lasts. I mean, the goal is to just not get hit anyway, right? So should have like 3 of these, right? Okay, I didn't think I had enough for that. So pretty much everything is just going to give me like full health now at this rate. T-Seth kind of wants to reread the manga because Naruto is one of those things that you reflect on and go, wait, this was made for children? No, I mean, when I was first reading it, I was in college, and I mean, obviously it is kind of like marketed towards children, but you know, especially compared to like Western media, it's not very childish. There are childish moments, don't get me wrong, but I thought I was like far enough away. I'll use this thing. Oh yeah, I should also summon my little guys. I didn't pick up my runes. I probably had a decent amount too. I'm a mess. I'll do this like maybe 1 or 2 more tries with the Twin Blade before I just speed it on up. I tried dodging. It's annoying trying to hit him in a pool of lava. This is why the ranged casters always have it's so easy. There we go. Hey, bleed proc finally. That was a good dodge. I wasn't actually expecting to need to do that. I realized, like, as I let go of the trigger, that he was doing that one again. Panic heal. Okay. Hey. So his eyes should have been glowing, but it looked like it wasn't. Which reminds me, magma worms kind of have like half orange, half teal looking eyes sometimes. Oh, I should have recognized that. That one was totally on me. As opposed to on the worm, I guess. I don't know. You know what? I don't really think it was worth it. I'm probably better off going for the bleed and just straight up damage. Okay. Hey, you got it. With the Dragon Heart and the Moon Veil. Which is always a very, very strong option. Especially with like the build that I'm working on right now. So, I don't think Alexander says anything else. Let's go talk to him again. Scaleezy says they should have had a Dragon Communion questline. Guy helps you hunt down dragons for their hearts, eats too much and transforms into worm. Of course you'd find him then. I think they had like the bare bones version of one. I'm pretty sure there's dialogue for it.
To the festival at Redmane Castle on the southern edge of the scarlet rot blighted Caelid wilds. Doesn't the thought just set your heart aflutter?
Thank you for the GGs. Concho is childish and Japanese, but in Merca it would get you arrested. Yeah, or worse. They seem purposely scarce with the dragon lore in Elden Ring. So many questions. Yeah. I mean, that's just kind of how they were even like Dark Souls. And a lot of that stuff didn't really get fleshed out up until like the final DLC, to be honest. And even then, I mean, there's still a ridiculous amount of questions that go along with Dark Souls lore. Alright, so we did that. May as well go see Maliketh next. And did I pick something else up other than the Moon Veil that I forgot to read? Maybe. Katana forged of glintstone, masterpiece of an Albinoric swordsmith. Light wreaths the blade when sheathed, earning it the name Moon Veil. I don't remember what it says in retail. But I do like the little double space between blade and wen. So the skill is Lunar Veil. I feel like this version is probably a little bit closer to the Japanese in terms of like where its name came from, but I don't actually remember the retail, so just ignore that, I guess. Yeah, the Dark Souls lore about the dragons really, really teases it. I do like a lot of the random portals that they added through Elden Ring that like take you to different places. I wish there was more of them, or more of like the oh shit, this is Caelid moment in the game. I guess there are like a decent amount of them with like Fair Missoula, but I almost feel like having the Belfry or Belfry, no Belfry, as Teen Sith pointed out, kind of ruined my expectations for Fair Missoula. I also kind of remembered seeing Maliketh from the story trailer, so I kind of put two and two together that I'd be fighting him there. But I also didn't recognize Maliketh as the Beast Clergyman, so. Alright. Speaking of Maliketh, today I released a short about him, about like his armor set. Maliketh is referred to as Marika's younger stepbrother, although the kanji for Ototo could also be read as like Gite, which I guess could be read as brother-in-law. So it might be vague, but I'll probably trust the translators on this one in terms of like probably having extra guidance to translate it as half-brother instead of like stepbrother or brother-in-law more specifically. If he was Marika's brother-in-law, that would also be extremely fascinating to me, though, because, like, does that mean she married a beast? Is that a reference to Godfrey? Because he has, like, Sirash on his back, and Sirash was the Lord of the Beasts. I don't really know about all that, so I think it's just a little bit easier for me to contend with only looking at Maliketh as a kind of younger stepbrother. And that's the same kanji that's used for Eiji's reference to Blaidd as Ranni's stepbrother. So one of the reasons that fascinates me, regardless, is that it shows that Marika is older than Maliketh, which, I mean, isn't really that big of a surprise, but it also does help contextualize, like, when she came to the Lands Between, I guess, because if she's a Newman who came into the Lands Between in ancient times, when did like men kind of really arrive and like gain their own intelligence? If they evolved from like beasts or demi-humans is a question to ask. I think it's possible that the demi-humans were always their own thing and the humans could be their own thing, and the Newman could be different as well. It's just all a big bag of mysteries that we have to just kind of contend with. Marika and Maliketh. Oh yeah, the other thing about Maliketh's armor set in Japanese is that it says the champions knew what was at stake. That's what made them champions in English. But the Japanese is more like, it's precisely because the champions knew the fear of facing Maliketh that they were champions, which is kind of a big difference, but I don't really know how impactful that is. But at the very least, it goes hand in hand with like a lot of the Soulsborne tropes of facing your fears kind of makes you stronger and like more powerful and like worthy of being a hero or champion or lord or whatever. All right, so let me catch back up with you guys. Do they talk much about souls in Elden Ring? Like, do we know if Albinorks have souls even if they lack grace? They kind of talk about souls a little bit, not a crazy amount though. We don't technically know if the Albinorks have souls, and one potential reading of the Albinorks is that they could be like silver mimic tears that could have cloned themselves based on the Nox, and they're kind of reverting as like the generations go on, but we don't really know that for sure. So it is possible that they don't have souls since they're said to not have grace, but to be fair, it is listed as speculation or hearsay whether or not like they have grace. So hold on, let me rephrase that. It's listed as speculation that they don't have grace technically, but Omen are also considered graceless, so there are graceless beings that would presumably still have souls regardless. Yeah, so many details we'll never know. Just don't take a Waygate portal to enter the DLC. I'm imagining it's probably going to be something wonky, whether it be Miquella's cocoon, or what Xionis would say, like the one regal ancestor corpse that doesn't have like a actual access to it in the underground areas. Would be another prime candidate, a random painting or something, or going through the body of like Lusat or Azur, I could see. And eyes. Even like maybe one of the corpses of Godwyn would work. But yeah. Boris asks, is there Jarberg in version 1.0? Yes. However, there's no Jar Baron. There's just a bunch of like normal Jar folk. Corporate wishes the portals were labeled, so after you use them once, you don't have to remember where they take you when you use them again months later. I used the little map markers for mine. I mean, it's not the best way to tell, but it's something. You think it was tarnished archaeologists who talked maybe about Godfrey beating the Dragon Lord at the Heart of Storms? I feel like that's a pretty fair conclusion to come to. I think it's very likely that Placidus Axe was the Stormlord, and Godfrey defeated Placidus Axe and subjugated Placidus Axe's lordship and domain into his own. You think all shadows are officially considered adopted siblings, like by mandate of the Two Fingers? You think they're chosen or possibly created to be their shadow? Yeah, and that's a good point that I didn't bring up with the Maliketh stuff, because it's kind of hard to just think of absolutely everything related to them. Yeah, people viewed demi-humans like lepers, and were worried their mutations were contagious. I don't know about demi-humans, but I feel like that's probably how they viewed Misbegotten for sure. You suppose the stepbrother is the easiest way to introduce the shadow to the Empyrean, as Rani was a child per EG. Yeah, and that's a fair thing to say as well. All this talk about grace and not one use of disgrace. Like, come on, man. You think people with grace can literally sense grace in the eyes of other people? Like they recognize the covenant and blessing of the greater will? That might be the case because, like, Patches recognizes us as tarnished, as do many others. But that's also kind of been like a weird trope of the FromSoft games where everyone just recognizes you as like the new outsider in town. Ratchet Games, welcome in. Imagine the entrance being after millennia. And yeah, that's another prime case example. Or like even an Everjail could potentially do it. Or another random waterfall. You never know. It's transient moonlight? Okay. Alrighty. Grace recognizes Grace. So we can talk to him. We can also start handing over Deathroot. I'll reload the area each time we give him a Deathroot because his dialogue changes ever so slightly. So he doesn't say much now. I kind of want to go see if D says something different. Screw it. We'll just hand him over one now. Just the one?
I smell it. Death. Feeding me. Tarnished. Bring more death. I shall grant thee eye and claw. Feed me more.
So we get our Clawmark seal, as well as the Beast Eye.
I shall grant thee eye and claw. Feed me more.
Alright, so we'll go back to the Grace, rest, and then talk to him again. To reset his dialogue. Although he probably has like the same opening thing to say. I just don't want to give him multiple Deathroot at once.
I am not sated. Feed me more.
Bestial hail. Bestial, really. Alright.
I am not sated. Feed me more death.
So Scalezi asks if Gurranq found Innate Godwin's body, what would have happened? Do you mean like right after he got, or like just now? Because after we do give Maliketh all the death root we can collect, he just still has the unquenchable thirst, and then he asks Marika if that's what it means to sin, which is really interesting. And we'll probably see that if we go and do like all the death root stuff. Boris says, is there a specific thing we can do to trigger the howling outside, or is it totally random? I actually don't know. That's one of the triggers I don't know. So let's check our talisman, or not talismans, clawmark seal. It's a sacred seal granted by Gurranq the Beast Pastor, a rare trinket which allows incantations to be scaled with strength. The clawmark represents Gurranq's wrath, enhances incantations learned from Gurranq. So this is kind of fascinating to me, and I feel like I'm saying that phrase a lot, because it shows that Gurranq has like a specific position amongst the beasts where they kind of channel his power through these things. And that isn't like super obvious at this point, but if you go to Farum Azula, you can actually see some of the beastmen carrying this clawmark seal. So when they use his power specifically to cast their incantations at times, that just kind of piques my interest, I guess. We picked up the eye. I received from Gurranq the Beast Clergyman. Leads those who seek the death roots with a trail of light. So this doesn't say anything about like the murky violet iris, but I think you could probably connect either violet irises to beasts or the rune of death more specifically, because I think when Godwin opens his eyes and he has like the black ooze come out of his eye in the trailer, his eye also turns purple. Maybe, I don't fully remember, but also at the very end of the game, if you do the Frenzy Flame ending with sparing Melina, her good eye, that's covered with like the talon mark right now, is also violet. Like it has to deal with destined death. And as we go through this version of the game, when we do fight Maliketh at the very end, his black blade will also be coated in purple flames instead of just red that you might expect from the Flames of Destined Death, which is very, very interesting to me. So I'm very excited to show that off, although it'll probably be quite a long while before we get there at the rate that I'm going. So let's go on back to the round table hold, and then I'll look at Bestial Hail, or whatever it was called. Summons and quickly fires rocks. Very enlightening. Beast Pastor sounds an awful lot like Cleric Beast, almost like a wink and a nod. I didn't think about it that way, but you're probably not wrong. I kind of want to look at the terminology in Japanese now to compare both. The question is if destroying Godwin's giant body would stop the spread of Deathroot. No, I don't think so, because it says on one of the descriptions that the Rune of Death itself is sprouted into Deathroot. So even if Maliketh ate all of Godwin, there's still the other half in Ronnie that he might need to consume. I don't exactly know how it works, but yeah. Either way, I think the way that Deathroot has infiltrated throughout the land, there'd be no possible way for him to consume all of it. Unless, like, he burrowed through, like, literally everything, like Terraria style or something. You think destroying Godwin would destroy the Erd Tree? I don't know if it would destroy the Erd Tree, because I feel like it's very likely that Marika shattered the ring, so that way the Erd Tree would get like disconnected from the world, so that way Destined Death couldn't like get back into the Order in an underhanded method. Yeah, you don't think he can be destroyed? He's self-propagated too much? Yeah, I feel like Godwin and Deathroot is a prime thing to explore for like a DLC, which is why I was really disappointed with like the Fia ending being so bland. Do you think the storm is spreading the spores of the Deathroot? I never thought about that specifically, but for what it's worth, the Deathroot is said that it like is spread through Godwyn's corpse in like the Great Tree roots. Oh, I just gave him all the Deathroot. Never mind. So, at the very least, it's being spread through the network of Erd Tree roots, in my opinion. Yeah, the World Tree is blighted. That's why the cycle needs to be renewed by fire. You think the Greater Will understands that? Yeah, I think that's probably the case. I don't know if the Greater Will understands it, though. I don't think it really cares.
You've met Gurranq, I take it. Then, owing to our duties shared, we are now comrades in arms. I think you've earned this. The power of the Golden Order to aid the hunt of those who live in death.
Boris asks, how do we know Godwyn is Godfrey's son? I mean, what item or where is it mentioned? So we do know that Godwyn is of the Golden lineage, and in other items it is stated really clearly that the Golden lineage are descended from Godfrey. But I don't remember exactly what items they are off the top of my head. And some of it might be from like Enia's dialogue about the demigods.
Are you acquainted with a man named Roger? You know, the piteous fellow hiding away on the balcony. He was a formidable spellblade in times past. Don't let his easy air deceive you. He was wise beyond his years, stout of heart and clear of mind. No more, though. You see him now, ravaged by thorns, muttering and rambling, like he's half dead already. I can't stomach to watch. Take well the lesson, friend. That's how you end up when seduced by those who live in death. When grace is sullied, it rots people from the inside, breaks them.
So that's some really cool dialogue there. It reminds me, I don't think I actually read Roger's Rapier, or if I did, it might not have had like a ton of information in this version of the game. But that reminded me that there is a discrepancy in the Japanese. So I do want to check that real quick. Piercing sword of superior quality featuring intricate ornamentation. Signature weapon of the sorcerer Roger. High dexterity is required to wield the blade to its full potential, but mastery is a sight to behold, characterized by a flowing style which excels in successive attacks. So maybe it's not the rapier, maybe it's his like armor set then. Okay, I'll just keep that in mind moving forward. Okay.
Did you need something else? I serve the Golden Order, that I might put this crooked land to rights, following only the guidance of the great Elden Ring. Those who live in death fall outside the principles of the Golden Order. Their mere existence sullies the guidance of gold, tainting its truth. And so it is the vermin must be exterminated, down to the very last.
Chill out, Walter. So, no, as D says, he thinks that those who live in death, by their very nature, solely the grace of gold. And to a certain extent, he's not wrong. Like, the Golden Order is dependent upon death being removed from the cycle. So, the spirits of the dead that refuse to die because they cling to life, just by their desire to live, kind of go against the principles of the Golden Order, and that's why he thinks they should be eradicated. So, D, Hunter of the Dead, sells us Golden Order incantations, and as we look at them, they do have like the shared int and faith scaling. So Sanctify Armament makes a weapon deal holy damage, and that will kill those who live in death outright, so they don't like revivify. And Litany of Proper Death, who actually has a description. It's an incantation used by Golden Order fundamentalists. Produce an arc of gold that deals holy damage. This incantation is especially damaging to those who have lived beyond death. Any followed by this incantation cannot be revived. These fundamentals hold that, through study guided by the laws of the Golden Order, knowledge itself is the root of holiness. That's interesting. I don't remember if it actually says that in the retail version. But knowledge itself is the root of holiness. That's kind of fascinating. Okay. Do I think adding the Rune of Death back would fix everything? No, I think the cat's already out of the bag. Oh, is he back here now? He's in an interesting position, to say the least.
Ah, you again, is it? The recusants sent a lackey. Can you believe they invited me to join them? Now, after what they did? I can scarcely believe it myself. Did they think me a fool? You might be surprised to learn I took them up on the offer. Then I only had to ask. The location of the recusant hideout. It's on Mount Gelmir, found off the old road that leads west from the town of Windmills. That's where they hide. The manor on the peak. Just you wait, wretched recusants. You'll rue the day you insulted my name by laying hands on Lenne. The tale of House Hoslow is told in blood, after all.
Alright, sweet. That's the dialogue that I never actually got from Dialos. Maybe it's because I'd already helped out Ryan now that he came back here and said it. Now that I kind of know about Volcano Manor, but yeah, I never had that happen before.
It's on Mount Gelmir, found off the old road that leads west from the town of Windmills. That's where they hide. The manor on the peak. Just you wait, wretched recusants. The tale of House Hoslow is told in blood, after all.
Alright, Rasha asks, is it in this version that the line asks if you can see the Erd Tree? You don't remember who or what says it. I'm not sure. Maybe, but I don't actually know what you're referring to specifically, unfortunately. Scowleezy says, is Mikkel an Empyrean because his alter ego is female? If he became God, he would have the same Radigan Marika thing going on. That's a good question. I don't have enough evidence to say one way or another, I don't think, though. After we do the Millicent stuff, we're going to go to the Black Knife Catacombs and deal with the Roger stuff.
Always good to see you safe.
I don't think he has anything else to say.
What do you need? Dee was telling me that he discovered the mark of the centipede. The centipede is an ancient...
Okay, we talked to him about that. Cantrell asks, why would it say knowledge and not wisdom? Knowledge can be anything learned, but wisdom is the understanding of things. That's a good question. I don't know if it's just like a small difference in the Japanese to English localization there. But either way, I mean, for a lot of people, they don't know the difference between knowledge and wisdom, so for some you can make the argument that you can't have wisdom without a base level of knowledge. So that would be my kind of pseudo defense of it, but I don't know. Coming through Caelid, like all the pygmy dudes, surprisingly also can use Destined Death in their attacks, which is very strange. So it seems as though they are kindred to Maliketh in some way. Kind of akin to maybe how the Black Blade Guard Goyle is called kindred to Maliketh, because they're Black Blade kindred, essentially. We're going to ignore Greyoll. Huh. Okay. That was easy. And now we're going to make our way towards Greyoll. Deathroot sprouted from a fault with the world's logic, and it basically is a permanent scar in the lands between. Yeah. Let's go get our Sight of Grace on. And maybe explore this tower to get the free memory slot. May as well. Knowledge is the root of holiness. That kind of reminds you of Demon Souls, where sorcery and miracles are ultimately the same. Knowledge draws upon the same source of magic. Miracles tap into faith. Possibly. I don't know if I fully feel that way, but I don't think I can discount it yet either. And I don't really think there's actually that much of a difference between miracles and sorceries in Dark Souls, to be honest. So I wouldn't be surprised if the same was the case in Elden Ring. So this is Lenne's Glintstone Rise. We don't really know who she is or was. The seal on the outside of the door, I believe, is Carian, but it might be Sellen. I should probably go look after this. Not that I think it, like, really matters. In retail, the Golden Order seal says something to the effect of the Golden Order incantations being close to scholarship. That's true, and I did look at the Japanese for that, and that aligns with that text. So, there's a little bit of a difference, so maybe they just revised something that was already there. I don't know. I'm a little curious about the change, though. Probably can't see it from this side now that I think about it. Oh yeah, I forgot this thing was here. I'm not going to be able to deal enough damage to this thing. Knowledge is neutral. It's like data. It's like saying the universe is holy. Wisdom requires a person. Maybe. That's an interesting way of looking at it. And Mortis thinks men can be Empyreans and it just has to deal with one's potential. Another possibility. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Godwin was also an Empyrean at some point. And why he got. So those things kind of had cold breath, I guess? Alright, let me catch up with chat and then I'll like talk a bit more about this rise. Hey Rat, what's up? How goes the loring? Anything new or really interesting? Yes. I mean, we've kind of looked at a couple different descriptions and I find them interesting. Hopefully you guys do too. So Cantrell doesn't understand what would be the point of calling him Saint Trina, unless it's based purely on his childlike looks, but you suppose the Golden Order can be shallow. So aren't people just assuming it's his alter ego and not just an icon created as a sort of worship to him? No, I think like there's a good possibility that if Miquella can control dreams, that Saint Trina would be like the avatar of his personification, if that makes sense. Like that might be who he identifies as for whatever reason. Like that just kind of is the figure he chooses to show others as himself. But whether that's actually his true figure or something that he uses for convenience is another matter for debate as well. Because if he's compelling people to follow him, it might just be more convenient for him to assume the guise of a, like, saintly woman to inspire that kind of faith. And so if anybody did ever get unbewitched by him, they wouldn't necessarily associate it with him versus Saint Trina. But I don't really know, and that's pretty much all just speculation. The Fevered Cookbook set is how you learn how to craft the bewitching branches. Yes. And unfortunately in this version of the game, I'm pretty sure there's like no lore on the actual cookbooks. Yeah. Expands crafting repertoire. Augusto says, they do feel like Empyreans need to be one half of the world's order. A goddess needs a lord consort. You just subscribe to the Rebus alchemy parallels. Okay. Hey Katie, what's up? So we went through Gael Tunnel. We did the beginning stuff with Blaidd and Darriwil, and now we're into Caelid, going to begin Millicent's quest. Yeah, I think you could look at Saint Trina as a kind of mediary, like when you go online, like it'd probably be the same way that you call yourself Cantrell7 as opposed to like your full legal name on here. Like your own like internet avatar is an expression of you, but it isn't exactly you. It might be an idealized version of yourself that you present to others. Yeah, I beat Seath. Okay. So coming into the rise, it looks like we do have, damn it. We do have what I would call like the primeval sorcery statue, or primeval current statue rather. And this stuff here was a good question brought up on the Discord a long time ago by like Teen Sith. Like, what are these? These kind of look like purple glintstone. And I understand why people would think that. My personal take on these things specifically is that they kind of remind me of the rocks seen in Altus Plateau, because it looks like they have the gold coursing through them. Whereas, like, purple glintstone specifically looks a bit more crystalline and glowy. So I think this stuff is a little bit different. And I also think it's possible the stuff in Altus Plateau could be equivalent to smithing stones. Like, the bigger they become, at least up to a certain extent, they look more like these kinds of rocks. So I think it's possible that whoever controlled the rises would have studied both glintstone and gold-imbued smithing stones. Yeah, and there's also the possibility that, like, Trina is a play on words. Professor Brink, welcome in. Really happy to catch one of the live streams. You watch a lot of the videos because of the intricate ways I look into the lore, and you use that to help refine some of the stuff you put in your own game. Oh, that's awesome. Glad to hear it, and thanks for joining in. Grant us glintstone on our brains to cleanse our beastly idiocy. It is kind of funny you say it that way. Oh yeah, because like the glintstone crowns do actually have like glintstone at the very top. So yeah, this is the Raya Lucarian symbol specifically. We got the 2 cuckoo on the left and all that stuff. So it's kind of interesting that the Raya Lucarian symbol is in play in Caelid, whereas we had the Cellian one, I think, in Liurnia. We've got another open graveyard. It could be glintstone affected by scarlet rot. I understand why you would say that. However, that kind of glintstone thing can show up on like the mountaintops and whatnot too. So it's not just limited here. Bruh. All of that for 200 runes. Lowlanders. And there's also often like packs of wolves by graveyards. I don't necessarily think they're connected. It's just kind of like something I've noticed. Or I'm not actually being harassed by wolves for once going through this. Uh-oh. I almost got looking at the chat. Thanks for that second jump. Holy crap. Demon Souls 1.0 original Japanese stream when? You'd pay for that? I really don't have any plans to do that. The Demon Souls stuff is pretty like sparse. Like there are a couple differences, but even with that, I don't really think there's like a lot I could say that would amount to a lot, I guess. Toxic Mushroom. So yeah, we ran past another minor Erd tree with an avatar over there, filled with a bunch of the jars, which is why I think like they transported the dead to minor Erd trees to like absorb them, because it's a kind of recurring motif with the minor Erd trees. But I certainly don't intend to fight that thing right now. Touch the grace here. Do I want to deal with Greyoll now or later? I think we can go through here first and then deal with the Dargon. The environment proved you wrong. It's all good, Mortis. Demon Souls has been pretty much solved. Skull Easy asks, do crazy powerful sorcerers begin to grow glintstone naturally, or is it from wearing it so much? A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B, maybe. Of course I'm going to try to come in here at night. And I'm dealing with a northern Caelid type enemies, so they're kind of tanky. So I'm just going to like run through everything here, because that's kind of what I normally do when I come here like this early. I don't think I have enough to level. No. So let's regret everything. So we got the granny bats and the boy bats. You think glintstone bodies are actual cultivations? You wish they made Dark Souls 2 more connected to everything? They need to make Dark Souls 2 too. We got the right half of the Dectus Medallion. So now we can go up that lift if we so desired, but we're not going to do that until we deal with Radahn and EG and Jaren. So it has the exact same description. Nothing too crazy about that. However, speaking of crazy things, for whatever reason, this fort right here, Farath, has arguably puppets up here. And the blue puppets can still bleed. So they're spirits, but they have blood. I don't know if that's like dev oversight. But one thing I've noticed about like the blue spirits in particular is that they're also susceptible to sleep, which doesn't make a ton of sense. Why is this one like... they all sparkling? I feel like that's different. Their AI is kind of wonky right now too. He's probably gonna live. Uh-oh. It's all good. I may as well take advantage of this if they're not like crazy. Dark Souls 2 works so much better as Demon Souls 2. Someone else, welcome back. They need to make the version of Dark Souls 2 that they canceled halfway through. The first one. Yeah. I'm glad that they've been doing a lot better in terms of their sales, because I think that's given them a lot more leniency in making the kinds of products that they want to make, with like Armored Core 6 and Elden Ring to a certain extent. Like, this was in development for an extremely long time, so I'm glad that it's paid off. Because if I remember correctly, this was in concurrent development with like Sekiro. And like the reason why some mechanics aren't in Elden Ring that were in Sekiro is because they were developed like around the same time, which is kind of crazy to me. You know, the Twin Blade do be hitting kind of hard at times. Oh yeah, I'm a wizard now, Harry. So the rats might get me down here, but there's kind of something important that I want to show off. We can do it right. Where's the drop? It's over there. Okay. Holy crap, that was like half my health. Whew. Literally held my breath as we dealt that last hit on that rat. We got a golden ones rune. And that's it, I'm pretty sure. There's no... Camera, please. I'm fat rolling. I'm gonna die. I got poisoned. Alright, it's all good. Yeah, so in this version of the game, the Scar Seal or Sore Seal isn't here. And it does have a different location, which I'm happy to show off when we get to it. Thought I had enough to not fat roll. What the hell? Oh well. So I know I'm leveling endurance next. Hey, Rat, thanks for the 10. Appreciate that. Rat dub. Uh-oh, what did Teen Sith? The MILFs of Nito? Oh god, MILF of Nito. You like the original Dark Souls 2 idea where they had immortal vampire lords underground, but they just made them into MILF of Nito? Yeah. Oof, boy do I have issues with DS2. Like, I would have been more okay... Oh, I got poisoned. I would have been more okay with the MILF of Nito if... Oof. Alright, we're not going to deal with that because I don't want to use my only thing. If like they made the Milfinito tie more into the Rotten, but they don't, and I don't really understand why not. Oh wait, we could do... Oh, I know why. It's because I had that on before. Oh, I forgot. I'm in a building and it's terrible because it gets caught on like ceilings. I wasn't expecting that, to be honest. Oh, another one. Okay. Alright. Oh, wow. You guys are popping off tonight. I'm gonna, like, take a second to speed read these in a opportune moment. Oh, Lord, they're coming. YOLO. I take it back. Don't YOLO. Fringe Folk Rune. Okay. So yeah, nothing else crazy going on in here, I don't think. And I don't remember if there's any like really good items down there. Although that one I see is enticing me. Okay, drop down. Oh wait, we do get this source seal. Okay, what one was I thinking about? I don't remember. Okay. So we do get Radigan source seal, which is a good thing. Oh yeah, I can also just fast travel out. Alright. I'm probably not going to read a lot of these messages out loud, and I'll just read through them quickly to myself. Malbhet, welcome in. Behind this mini fortress is an extremely overpowered harpy on a lower rock ledge, and it seems to be more powerful than the other harpies for some reason. I might check that out, actually. Let me level up. Boris wonders if there could be a Godwin twin. Maybe. Like, the whole golden lineage thing is weird. And the most common theory would be, like, Godric is descended from Godwin, since he's not, like, a direct child of America. So, it might be possible that Godwin has a twin or something like that. Let me see if I can keep the twin blades on. Okay, that'll be enough. For now, at least. More dislikes how they handle Elder Scrolls sequels where in the same universe, just separate stories. And you think, like, that's why DS2's disconnected stories so much? Okay. Yeah, the fact they made Armored Core shows they're making the games they want to make. Yeah, for sure. I definitely appreciate that. And that's kind of why I think they stand out as good games. When developers like try to appeal to like larger markets, they just kind of fall short and make bland games. Like I think Final Fantasy is notoriously bad at this right now, and it just shows that like when Final Fantasy 15 came out, the devs at SquareSoft were legitimately worried about Persona 5, which I think were totally grounded fears because people still talk about Persona 5. But when's the last time you ever heard anybody talk about Final Fantasy 15 on its own as like an amazing game? Like graphically, yeah, but like the story and the gameplay left a bit to be desired, I think. Why would you make me read that with my own eyes? A new Kingsfield, that'd be cool. My last pick? Yeah, right, Rat. No, you're not gonna get me. Alright, Ratchet found the exact text, but you don't know who said it specifically. Surely you can see it too, the gold that enshrouds the heavens, the great tree which begets the pillars of light. So I'm pretty sure that might be the finger reader crone near... Hold on. No, that's the finger reader crone near Lane. So I don't think she means it in a way that, like, the tree shouldn't be visible. I guess I never really thought about that. No, but that's the finger reader crone near Lane. We'll definitely be able to see that in this version of the game and in retail. Rat sounding like a drug dealer over here, Jesus. Elden Ring 2 always has been. You only ever hear talk about Final Fantasy 5 and 7? Definitely not 5. I mean, I like 5. I'm one of the weirdos who actually does, but mostly for gameplay reasons rather than story ones. The Final Fantasies that people, like the fans, really are endeared to are Final Fantasy 6, 7, sort of 8, 9, and 10 are like the big ones. Oh yeah, I have this on. I didn't realize these dudes spawn down here. They angry. They deal a lot of damage. Alright. I'm gonna look for this harpy thing just to see if it's there. So I don't really think like 8 counts as a super good Final Fantasy, but like for a lot of edgy teenagers who wanted a kind of emo love story, it provided what they wanted, and they're like kind of endeared to that one. But it's a little bit of a mess and all over the place. So like further down there. Oh, that harpy. I don't know if I actually ever really messed with this one, to be honest. I wonder if she's gonna sing. I was going to say, maybe they don't sing in this version of the game, but we've definitely heard some of them, so I guess this one doesn't. Yeah, so these granny bats are really strange because, like I said before, they are susceptible to some of the, like, White Shadow lure things, but they're not, like, beasts. Damn it. I should not have messed with that one before dealing with Granny. That's, like, all of my health? Okay. Yeah, I'm just kind of too low level to be dealing with a lot of this stuff. Oh, yeah. So that's really cool. Okay, I'm going to go deal with the Granny after all. So, yeah, one of the things that the Harpy things can do are use, like, Hex-type magic. And I've wondered at times whether the Angel Scythe with their white-winged maidens is kind of meant to be a reference to, like, the Granny gargoyle-looking things. I guess Harpy is as good a word as any to describe them. They're going to be in the sky, so this isn't going to be super effective, but whatever. Oh yeah, no, that thing has a lot of HP. Holy crap. Yeah, I would not have been able to kill that thing normally, I don't think. Yeah, the thing had like, what, 4,000 health? It's kind of a lot. And then that bastard over there has absolutely nothing for, like, probably being, like, the hardest enemy in the game to fight mano-a-mano. So, yeah, all the stuff in northern Caelid is just kind of obscenely strong in the Dragon Barrow region. Good place to level up early. Oh, that one does? Or you just mean those in general? They sing, Rat? Squall was your classic introvert, the loner, punk light, possibly? Yeah, that's a good way to describe him. The bats speak Latin, which means the glorious Roman Empire existed in the lands between. It's canon, guys. Cloud turned emo with the compilation. No, he was definitely emo in the original, but it's just kind of harder to get that across because it wasn't as flashy. Oh, yeah. So before dealing with Greyoll, whenever it screams, all of the nearby dragonlings will wake up, and then their eyes will turn red because they get enraged by Greyoll's scream. I have tested this out, and every time you kill one of the smaller dragons, you will get a dragon heart. And if you kill all of them, Greyoll will just die immediately. So Greyoll's life is shared with the smaller ones, which is odd. And my more astute watchers of the stream will notice how I'm using words like odd and strange instead of interesting and fascinating. So yeah, one bleed proc did 20,000 damage. Does a Hoarfrost Stomp. All of its hits count. So big boys take a lot more damage. Which is why it's obscene in this game if you can put it on a weapon that has intrinsic bleed. Are the beastmen attracted by beast lure pot? Yeah. I have like a little list of what is and what isn't. I should probably like make... I wouldn't say like a lore video, but maybe like a mechanic compilation video. To just kind of show that stuff off. Actually, I wasn't taking footage of a lot of it. I just took notes. Still is probably worthwhile doing, to be honest. The Final Fantasy Origin dialogue is so bad it's hilarious. Yeah, I'm not interested in that just because it does seem so bad that I couldn't take it seriously. Alright, so that's Greyoll down. Oh shit. I was too slow. Or maybe I wasn't. But yeah, you don't get nearly as many runes in this one. You only get 15,000 from Greyoll. I only got one dragon heart? I thought I was supposed to get 3. It probably said 3 on the side and I wasn't paying attention. Anyway, yeah, you don't get nearly as many runes for killing this, which is kind of funny. So they made it like the best way to level up early on. And I didn't want to do that at the very beginning of the stream just because I wanted to have like a more fair shot against Morgott and Godfrey. So with that done, let's go ahead and level up some more intelligence. So I'm not a Bluntstone. And then we'll go head towards Millicent, Gowry, and the Rot place. Maybe Jaren? Maybe seeing him now would be worthwhile. We'll have to deal with the Crucible Knight and the Leonine boy. Woo. Oh yeah. So Caelid itself is really cool because if you look in these rock formations, you can see the bodies of petrified giants. And honestly, calling them petrified giants is a little bit of an understatement because they are freaking gigantic giants, like way bigger than anything in the mountaintops of the giants, other than the corpses in those mountains as well. So, for whatever reason, we can find Millicent here, and she'll be missing an arm. But if you don't interact with her yet and go to the swamp area, we can interact with her invader there and still see her with 2 arms. So that might have just been like a development error on their part. I don't know. Oh, I forgot to talk to Vare yesterday. I knew I was forgetting something. So we'll leave her alone for now. We can go into Celia. But before that, let's go maybe kill the troll and get the Eternal Darkness spell. Oh yeah, we also got the Golden Ones rune. This troll is super annoying. It's so weird to me that like you can kill this one outright and then it doesn't respawn, unlike most enemies in the game. To be fair, they never patched out killing her the Blaidd way. True. But it's kind of weird to me that they gave her more runes. Alright, so that troll be gone. Titan-like? That's a fair statement. Be rad, welcome in. Your theory is that an invasion is a projection of the spirit and her spirit's whole. I think that's probably an interesting and or fair way of looking at it, because like Dung Eater, his corporeal form is beneath the sewers, but his spirit or something can be found in the Round Table Hold. I forgot he was actually in the doorway. I just remembered it there being an ambush, because these guys can be annoying. But these guys are like puppet spirit type things, and they're still susceptible to bleed. And I shouldn't do that because I'm indoors. I do like how you can see them like as clouds of frozen mist. Alright, time to get got by the Bloodhound Knight that just randomly popped up here. Elda says, there's a video about a guy theorizing these first giant are like titans. They disintegrated and... Oh, I got rammed. Literally. They degenerated into the merely huge giants, which in turn we know degenerated into trolls. I could see it. Swamp lookout tower. I guess there is the Ionian swamp below us. Oh, he doesn't have as much HP as I was expecting. Sweet, he leaves behind a corpse too. I don't know how well I'll be able to show this off. Yeah, okay, I'm not going to be able to do that very well at all. So like on the back of the Bloodhound set, there's like this kind of goofy looking wolf face on their cape. Yeah, it's too light to look at it like this. Which implication is worse? Smough trying to become Miquella's consort, or Millennia having a bunch of daughters? I feel like the first one, to be honest. I don't even really think it's much of a contest. So, Eternal Darkness is now Cellian Darkness. And it creates a space that confuses enemy spells. And just to remind you guys, like in the retail version, it says that Eternal Darkness is what caused the despair of the Nox, or something along those lines. So they did change it up quite a bit. So we can use the little tombstones to go down. None on this side. Okay, forgot about that. Oh no, there are some. I thought there were. Dragonflies. I hate dragonflies. We're going to go get the Side of Grace on that side of the swamp. And then before dealing with Gowry, we're going to go get got by baby Millicent. And then do the Cellian stuff, because we may as well. Because it doesn't really take too long. Then maybe Vare and or like the Black Knife Catacomb. I feel like I should do Vare first because I feel like I would forget about him more easily than the actual Black Knife Catacombs. Maybe I should be like going for the other sites of grace while I'm like traversing the area. So this should be where the Deathbird is, right? Almost. Okay, I went too far, I think. Oh no. I went way too far the wrong way. Decaying Ekzykes. Yeah, Greyoll giving some early levels is hardly the most powerful thing they could do early on. That's fair. This dude's wearing all black. What an edgy boy.
Buying or selling?
Alright, cool. We get the blue cloth set and the prophet set. This is a pretty cool place. Prophet Blindfold. Blindfold of exiled prophets who foresaw that their faith would end in flames and were persecuted and driven from their homes as a result. After all, what use is eyesight to those who claim to know the true path? So, how the frick does Corrin understand Goldmass finger wagging is the eternal question. Blue cloth cowl. Cowl of a nomadic warrior. The blue color of its fabric symbolizes brisk waters, as fluid and flowing as the sword in the hand of its wearer. Just as still waters turn foul, stagnation leads to decay. The warriors who wear this cowl must remain ever drifting. So if soap is number 1, maybe this is like number 3 in terms of like what this says about other Soulsborne games. The whole thing of still waters turning foul and stagnation leading to decay is like front and center in Sekiro especially. It has really big implications in Bloodborne, but we've definitely talked about these often enough that I'm probably just repeating myself here, so I'll probably just leave that there. Yeah, okay. Tunic of the exiled prophets who foresaw that their faith would end in flames and were persecuted and driven from their homes as a result. So this is a little bit different than the retail version of the game, but I do like that it still talks about how the prophets essentially saw flame. But I think the retail says that they saw flame in the Erd Tree and that's why they got driven, but for whatever reason, like Corrin also wears this set. His is modified though, so he should have seen flame in the Erd Tree, so it's a little bit weird that he's like, oh no, don't burn it, my vision. Their pants fabric scrapes against their skin like a file, and the rickety cartwheel around the neck warns passers-by not to lend an ear to the meandering sermons. That's interesting. Okay. So that's pretty much it from that. You always thought someone got Melania pregnant? No, I think it's more like flowering stuff. Yeah, okay, you guys are talking about that. Calculus, bro. The blue cloth set is at the Academy Merchant and Retail. Interesting. Yeah, it seems like some of the merchant inventory got shuffled around a bit because Patches isn't at the Scenic aisle, and so that merchant is. That merchant still sells like the astrologer set, but he's in a different location. Patches has unlimited amounts of like the poison arrows, which I should probably buy a ton from. Not that I really need to choose anything if I'm using Hoarfrost Stomp, honestly. Stella B, welcome back to the stream. Yeah, Mortis, you added to me pretty much immediately, and I'm like, yeah, man, I found this like yesterday. It's probably like only 12 hours after the game released or something like that. I'd already like picked up golden centipedes and was like, ooh, Kegare, like the Soy Jack meme of us lore YouTubers. Melbet says, the only other game you can think of where the open world bosses are a challenge besides Elden Ring is Dragon's Dogma. You can't wait for Dragon's Dogma 2. Yeah, a lot of people are really looking forward to that. Oh yeah, I was going to look at the Golden One's rune, because I keep forgetting to. Oh, we got Lowlanders? Okay. So this one is different in this version of the game, and it's, Alright, anyway. Grace was brought to the very fringes and lowlands of the lands between, and with the Golden Order came the weight of its history, a history of conquest and subjugation. Wait, no, that's the same. Is that this one? What? Fudge. Maybe those got changed. I don't remember. I'm losing it. Anyway. Golden One's rune. Those born at the base of the Erdshir are blessed. At least such is the blind belief of those dwelling in the capital. So that one's pretty much the same. They weren't called Golden Ones. I don't remember what they are. But anyway. Do we deal with Ekzykes? No, we'll just leave him be for now. We'll go to the Dragon Communion Church, though, after I pick up this grace. Should be over here. Yeah, I went, like, under it. Okay. I was, like, right next to it. Wait, I already did this one? Oh, this one is that one. I always think there's, like, another one between those two. Okay. I am tripping, as they say. Is the Albinorg blood clot actually the most important item in the game? You know Smotown is making a joke, but he's so good at weaving it into his videos, you're not sure. I mean, that's probably just like an individual take. For me, I would say soap is. The Albinorg blood clot is also really important, though, I think. I say soap because it just like confirms everything that's like super important to me in the other games. And also, it's just a really good meta joke about how gamers smell and practice poor hygiene. I forgot there's going to be boys in here. You like the visual of the runes slowly becoming like irises? Yeah. That is one thing that I think they did a great job on, like the visual design, especially with like the whole grace residing in the eyes. Perfect. So we still have banished boys in this version of the game here. And these guys are proper banished knights, and they can also use Dragon Communion spells. Though. If he will kindly perform one of his incantations, that'd be cool. I did it again. Man, they really be punishing us people who don't panic roll sometimes. Now I'm panic rolling. He should definitely do it. He's got the sword. The spear boys don't use dragon... Ooh. The spear guys don't really use Dragon Communion spells. But the sword guys do. Maybe it's the two-handed ones only? Here we go. So just kind of wanted to show that off before we looked at our new dragon incantations, which probably don't have like a lot of flavor text. Ancient Dragon Apostles Cookbook 4 expands our repertoire. They're some of the most annoying enemies in the game. Yeah, they're really strong. So, Dragonfire instead of Egheel's Flame. Okay, no, we still have Egheel's Flame. An incantation of the Dragon Communion used by those who've eaten of a dragon's heart. Spews flaming breath with draconic power. Those extraordinary individuals who perpetuate the Dragon Communion are called the Dragon-Hearted. Pretty straightforward. Channels Drake to breathe frost. To breathe poison. And this is Scarlet Rot. Glidstone Breath to breathe magic. Egheel's Flame channels Drake to breathe fire that spreads. So, they definitely added more to Egheel's lore in the retail version of the game. I should go back to what's it called? the Dragon Burnt Ruins to see if they still call for Egheal in this version of the game. So I might do that now. We picked up that Site of Grace. Yeah, okay, we'll do that now and then go back to the Millicent area. Nah, this is as good a spot as any, but whatever. First up. Do I think Malenia is aware of Miquella's disappearance? Yeah, because when she wakes up, she says she was awaiting his return. So, I'm pretty sure that's like a direct reference to Miquella. The noob stomper right here. Now that we're cheesing. Let me get my revenge for all the homies who got stomped by him. Day one. Or really journey one. Golden Halberd. Did I ever read this? No, I don't think I did. Okay. Golden Halberd is a weighty halberd forged of gold and enwreathed with the Erd Tree's holiness. Wielded by the Order of Arbor Sentinels, heavily equipped knights. A masterfully crafted weapon that lives up to its heft, but is difficult for one of mere human strength to wield. So that's pretty straightforward. The tree spear we got from the caravan that was going from Liurnia over the broken bridge to Limgrave and was like stranded. A golden spear with tree-like design, wielded by knights employed as palace guards in the royal capital of Leyndell. Requiring superior dexterity to wield, this great spear can perform consecutive thrust attacks, despite its larger size. So one of the weird things to me about the tree spear is that it gives a sacred vow. I can't use it. Fudge. What do I need? Oh, a lot more strength. I think, well... Oh yeah, we also got the seal. A Magumba. Still one shy. Okay. An eye engraved with an Elden rune, said to be the seal of King Consort Radagon. Greatly raises vigor, endurance, strength, and dexterity, but also increases damage taken by a similar measure. The weight of a heavy duty gnaws away at the one charged with carrying it out, like a curse from which there is no deliverance. So I think that's pretty similar. One thing that I noticed about like this rune in particular, or this item in particular, is that it says it's an engraved with an Elden rune, and that's in every version of the game. I'm pretty sure that's in the Japanese. So this symbol is his like lattice design that's behind him, and like his statue. So if that's part of the Elden Ring, that's really strange, because you can still kind of see it in the Elden Ring logo, and I think like most people don't pay attention to it. And like Mortis was saying like the other day, you can also see it in the Golden Order Greatsword. So if you look at this logo, like the Elden Ring is kind of shattered, but you can also see like the Radagon lattice behind it. She just sleeping and not looking for him, not a good sister. Well, she had to sleep after unleashing her flower, essentially. Alright, so let's go see if Egheal's boys still call out to him. Actually, if I remember correctly, in this version of the game, like, increasing the sound effect volume doesn't do anything? But I might be wrong. That might have just been Bloodborne. Okay, they're definitely doing it. So they say Feral Flame of Gael burn true. Now I feel like my settings are messed up. Was it at 3 before? Seems okay. Okay. Let's go back to our girl. Yeah, they're praying to Gael to reduce them to nothing since they're so sick of life. In the retail build of the game, it said like the dead prayed to a Gael for their flame to incinerate them, like something along those lines. And that does make me wonder if one of the ways to die, or like maybe like the more historic way to die, was through flame. And if flame can burn gold, since we use flame to burn the golden tree, aka the Erd tree. But we don't really know. Alright, so one reason why we're coming over here is to show off this really cool enemy interaction. We got a bunch of nobles over here. But one noble is a little different from the others. Alright, this dejected boy right here doesn't properly attack until you hit him. However, once it dies, it doesn't die. It becomes a flaming troll. And then when these die, they automatically drop larval tears. There's a couple enemies like this throughout the game. There's one in Lane, there's one in the Consecrated Snowfield that I can think of off the top of my head. There might be another somewhere, and if so, I'm just not remembering. But this... I think we talked about this briefly on like another stream, or maybe it was off stream, where it's questionable whether like Lansax was a human that turned into a dragon or a dragon that turned into a human. At the very least, we do have other cases of beings transforming into humans with like this troll in the larval tier. The guy in Lane turns into like one of the lion things that have chains on them. And the Consecrated Snowfield Aristocrat turns into a rune bear, which is pretty terrifying. So let's go ahead and read our new item. I didn't read that, did I? No, I did. So, an orb that allows one to be reborn upon being infused with magic. Requires Renalla's cooperation to use. Okay, so I did notice something crazy. So the item effect of the beast eye, and I didn't realize this was actually still in 1.0, is that it says it's the gouged out eye of Maliketh himself. So I tried looking into the Japanese 1.0 version of this game for the text, but it was already updated, so I couldn't tell if it was just a case of like the knee particle, whereas like it was trying to say that it was an eye that Maliketh directly gouged out and not necessarily Maliketh's eye. But at least in this version of the game, we can see that it's the gouged out eye of Maliketh himself. I don't think that's how it was supposed to be read, but for sake of argument, if it was supposed to be read that way, that's super interesting stuff, because we don't really get a look at either of Maliketh's eyes, so it might be possible that he's missing one. And maybe that's why this can like point us towards Deathroot. I don't know. Bots report not night buff for targeted harassment. You're not banana shaped. And you stay sipping H2O. It's for me, really. I need to be sipping more H2O. True to the previous Elden Ring form, have transformed into more refined Radagon sigil, which reflects how the Golden Order is more removed from nature, or at least that's Katie's take. Yeah, the Mimic Tear turned her into a troll. There's one in Limgrave? Also, welcome to the stream, Revenant. Where's the Limgrave one? Is it in the Mistwood? I can't remember. Way more badass to think of it as Maliketh's eye, yeah. Yeah, and as Scalezi says, Radagon's lattice does look like a trellis that you'd grow vines and plants on. Yeah, Katie, as you said, the ni is the dative particle in Japanese. So yeah, that's kind of what I would take. It's probably just a misunderstanding of ni. Or like maybe not misunderstanding, just like, well, I guess it is. It's just like if there's not enough context, you're not really going to know. So kind of boned. You have to make an executive decision. If it happens to be the wrong one, get wrecked, I guess. It's by Darriwil's Everjail. Okay, okay. So, yeah, we showed that guy off. We can go heal up as we go towards Millicent. Screw it. He's here, so he's gonna get got. He's looking at me funny. I rolled. That's cabbage. This is gonna hurt. Jesus. Okay, I was not expecting that level of death, to be honest. The pain is real. Well, at least I'll have more MP to keep spamming Hoarfrost Stomp now. And I can sip water. I was closer than I thought. Oh Lord, he coming. So he's like at half HP with 2 stomps. I don't think Moonveil is that powerful. Holy crap. Torrent's almost dead? Our poor little boy. I really like Scarlet Rot as an effect. I do feel kind of bad for Poison in comparison. Like, lore-wise, Scarlet Rot is just super cool to me. It'd be cool if, like, Gravity and whatnot got similar kinds of treatment. Oh, okay. I thought he was going to do the breath attack. Am I going to die? Close to it. Alright, this should finish it. Woo-wee! There's Estelle who has a connection to Gravity. Oh, when I was saying like I wish there's like more for Gravity, I just meant like with as powerful as Scarlet Rot is, I was hoping like Gravity would have something a bit more comparable to it. Not that it's bad with like Rocksling and stuff, but I don't know, maybe if like Eternal Darkness was also a Gravity spell. Where am I going? So I'm in the swamp. Let's go get butterfly poison thing or whatever it's called. Budge. The weird sound effects getting cut off. Where did it go, George? There we go. Oh no. Why did that not hit? Now we got the clean rot boy angry. These things are so tough to deal with. When you fight them normally, that is. There we go. Imbue poison. Alright, so I want to get out of the swamp. Okay, there's this side of grace. Because going in a bit too far will cause Millicent to invade and dismount me from Torrent. And there's also like a little ghost that I like to talk to set up the Millicent invade as well. Gravity in these games is super OP. You of all people should know that. You didn't read the cookbook, by the way? Don't know if you forgot. No, the cookbooks don't say anything, but I appreciate it. The wormhole spell. Like, gravity is cool, but I don't know. There's just something that's so viscerally good about the Scarlet Rot Breath that I don't think, like, gravity compares. Or, like, there's no gravity-type damage the same way that there is, like, Scarlet Rot damage and stuff like that, if that makes more sense. So, our ghost should be over there. Oh, no, these are the dudes. He should be, like, over here. He should be, like, right here. Maybe the ghost just isn't in this version of the game. Pissed off the mushroom men. Oh, I have a lot of runes. I'm gonna go use them. Gravity magic is strength build with extra steps. Formless Mother has a connection to the primordial life and Crucible. Falling damage is gravitational damage after all. Checkmate. Checkmate. Rip me. I'm putting in the 1 point for strength just to be able to show off the weird thing about the tree spear. So I think the tree spear is weird because even though it's supposed to be for like the ancient Erdtree type stuff, it has Sacred Order, which is a Golden Order spell. And the sigil is Golden Order as well. So it's good for those who live again. So it's good against those who live in death, which should be after the time of when like the tree spear came into being. I would guess. So maybe there's something more to that. Like maybe the Erdtree came later in the timeline than we thought, but that just still doesn't make much sense to me because of everything, really. Gravity be cool for slow effect. Oh yeah, especially like with the way that Frost can do it too. Yeah, I think Poison got a little bit put to shame as well as like Gravity in terms of like status effects. Alright, so coming over here, Millicent should start to invade. So now that we've got her invading, I'm going to run back and hopefully not get like blighted, because we can fight here on the shoreline. And she'll be off way in the distance, fighting her demons. So she has 2 arms here, which is kind of funny. She should be able to come this far. Maybe I just need to kite her more? So Millicent... It doesn't look like she can make it. That's unfortunate. I really don't want to fight her on these things because there's not a lot of space for her waterfowl dance to catch me. Although I guess I have 4 Frost Stomp. Oh, she's blighted? Oh no, she just walked into the geyser thing. Oh crap. I jumped instead of like rolling into it? That's annoying. I'm gonna die. Because I'm not trying to just like full on cheese her, although I pretty much did. Oh no. Bruh. Alright, she gets cheese now, because I forgot about the clean rat night. FromSoft should bring back Tranquil Walk of Peace. Oh yeah, this spell. From Dark Souls 3. I was like, what is that? Is that a game? Thank goodness they've never played around with time magic. That'd be really cool. Oh, have you guys seen that new trailer for Chrono Odyssey? I was really pleasantly surprised by that. Like, it actually looks like it could be a good game. I'm like, what? But, I don't know. I'm still skeptical, cautiously optimistic. Why are we not getting invaded? Oh, we are? There we go. Poison's been shafted since Toxic. Poison suddenly became a small fry first time you ended up with Toxic in Blighttown. Yeah. Well, Toxic was always crazy, crazy. Oh, I didn't even see that one. No, let me loot it, let me loot it. I need the clean rot set. The clean rot set. Oh god, oh god. Screw you, Millicent. She got died. I think if you talk to Gowry, she might not invade here anymore. But I don't remember. It's been a long time since I tested those triggers, so that's why I avoided Gowry. Okay, so now we can go to Celia. Although, let's pick up the traveling perfumers. No, is this the perfumer set? I think this is just like the traveling set of something. Street of Sages Ruins. Where? Thought it was in one of these things. The funny thing is, I think when I first came out of Caelid, I think I didn't realize like I could mount, or that like mounting would allow me to not get poisoned by the rot at first. I mean, I did take like too long to figure it out, but I think I like was just trying to hop between like the buildings and little pads on the ground pretty quickly. Pretty sure there isn't actually anything super important down here. Rock Sling. Which, don't get me wrong, is a fantastic spell, but not what I was looking for in terms of like lore. Although maybe it will have lore in it, who knows. Alright. It looks interesting, we'll have to wait and see. Chrono Odyssey. You saw gameplay of someone stacking deadly poison on top of regular poison using the Poison Ash of War on Poison Fang Fist and deals double damage. Yeah, those should stack. And if I remember correctly, Poison and Scarlet Rot do. The only issue, there's not like a lot of weapons that have base poison like make advantage of those kind of like double dipping effects. Which is kind of why I was saying like, I think it got a little bit shafted. Whereas, I guess like the Scarlet Rot doesn't have a lot of weapons either, but there's a couple at least. Now I'm pretty sure it was here. It just might not be there now. Or I'm just misremembering. It would be cool if enemies gave you a debuff rather than seeing the damage build up. Maybe. Is there something in that? No, okay, it's closed off. Alright, so then that's that. Oh yeah, we'll need to fight Commander Neil soonish. The interesting thing about that one is you can summon one of Millicent's sisters to do it. I'm trying to remember, it might be Pollyanna, the youngest. It's one of them anyway. Okay, no, this is the butterfly, Ash of War. Why is this one gold? Oh yeah, this one goes like out that way now. Poison armament. Wait, that makes it sound the same as the other one. Anyway, let's go towards Celia. I jumped off too soon. Everyone's scared of the God of Rot until the God of Blight rolls up. Hey, Miyazaki himself is in the stream. Welcome. How crazy would it be if it was actually him, though? I did have enough. I just forget to actually do that. Not enough to level up. 1,000, 1,500 short. Alright, so let's check out our rock sling. Summon boulders from the void to fire at enemies. So pretty straightforward. No flavor text in this one. As we come into Celia, we have like the puppet boys attacking us. Although these might not be puppets. One idea that I've had in terms of like these spiritual type enemies, and Celia specifically at least, is I've wondered if their souls have been imbued into the surrounding glintstone, and that's why they're animated. But if that were the case, I think it'd be weird that we have the guys at the very top of the bridge looking like thing over there. And all that. I'm trying to remember if there was a note here, or if maybe it's one that Gowry hands to us. Yeah, it's probably after we do the stuff with Millicent. So we'll just leave that there for now. The Sellen stuff, because we will explore that place a little bit more thoroughly once we deal with Gowry, Millicent, and Commander O'Neill. Gowry's shack.
Oh, a pleasure to see you. A pleasure indeed. I am Gowry, a great sage. In my day, anyway. I'd hoped to ask a favor when one of your ilk came along. A strapping young tarnished, able to cross the scarlet swamp of Aeonia. Don't fret, I'll provide fine recompense. Should you accept, I will teach you the secret of Celia, the town you see there.
Alright, Teen Sith, thanks for sticking around. Take care. Is the outside dog chain variant or not? Yeah, it has like chains on it. You can aggro it. I've only ever seen that happen once, though. It's kind of random.
Ah, then you are willing to lend a hand, are you? I need your help to heal a certain young girl. Her name is Millicent. You will find her beyond Celia, resting at the church atop the cliff, stricken by the rotting sickness. The rotting sickness that afflicts Millicent has no cure. When the Erd Tree flourished, even the demigods could not stave off its effects, despite their nigh godhood. But Millicent's suffering can be ameliorated. For this, you are to find a certain needle. Seek the deep scarlet swamp of Aeonia outside Celia's bounds. The needle, made from unalloyed gold, is lost somewhere there. First, you must find the unalloyed gold needle. It's hidden somewhere in the deep scarlet swamp of Aeonia. Then I will tell you, as promised, the secret of the town of Celia.
A really tough secret to solve, I know. But Gowry does give us a lot of very interesting information because he sets out that the Scarlet Rot is something the demigods couldn't even control. We'll later learn, of course, that the Scarlet Rot is kind of under the control of an outer god, or it's like part of an outer god's influence, which is probably why the demigods couldn't repel it entirely. And there's going to be more to go along with that, so I don't really like want to go on a spiel here because I'll probably just end up repeating myself as we go along. So in order to find the half golden needle thing that we need, the unalloyed gold needle, we need to go fight Commander O'Neill. And so we're going to go over here, and we could like look through the Aeonian swamp flower to see him, but there's going to be like a side of grace over here. And then the Pollyanna summon is like on the left side of the arena as you like look into the boss. Should be like over there. But here we go. The Scarlet Rot is a concept of the world, that's why it can't be avoided. Killing Gowry blew your mind? Oh, didn't mean to dismount. So yeah, most people end up missing the summon for this fight because the entrance is like right here. But like I said, if you go further that way, it'll pop up. Let me just kill this dude and then like, that actually might be enough to level up. I was hoping to get an item, to be honest. Okay, not enough to level up. You still don't think that the Outer God of Rot exists? Sorry, not sorry. Do you mean doesn't exist anymore or like never existed? Because I think those are two different claims. Geysers. Right. Wait a second. Did I go too far? I always remember her summon sign is like way inconvenient. Or maybe it's not in this version of the game. I'm not actually trying to fight him until I find it. Maybe I need to die once? It should be like over here, the left side. I wonder if I get runes for killing his exile knights. So yeah, O'Neill and Neal can summon these kinds of soldiers. Alright, so the exile knights don't give me any runes, which isn't a big deal. But the commanders themselves might be wearing like Banished Knight armor. They're pretty similar. He's got the veteran set on. So it's slightly different, but I mean, like I said before, in this version of the game, it's a little bit more clear that like Exile Knights and Banished Knights are similar because of what they say. And I think I have an item from both sets, so I should be able to show it off. Should have gone from the side of grace. So the exiled set in this version is called the Banished set. Stormvale was once a place of exile, blah blah blah. Whereas maybe I don't have anything from the Banished Knights. Thought I did. No, these ones are still the exile guys. Whatever. Definitely not the helmet. Oh no, this is the Banished Helm, isn't it? No. Okay, so I don't actually have any Banished Knight armor, I don't think. Thought I had the Greaves, but I guess I don't. Or are they called the Morgott soldiers? I don't remember. Either way, I do think at like some point the exiled knights were supposed to be closer to like the bell-bearing hunters, and the Banished Knights, and they just kind of like walked it on back. Right, so it doesn't look like there's a summon sign here, which is a little bit unfortunate. You didn't know there was a summon there until your third playthrough? Yeah, it took me a while to find it. I think I only found it because of like a Reddit comment where they talked about like the different summons and they mentioned that one. But to be fair, like I also don't summon a lot. And O'Neill can use Scarlet Rot for whatever reason. What was I going to say about that? One of the effects of Scarlet Rot is that it kind of erodes the memory. And I think there's an item or... damn it. There's an item that mentions, maybe in the Veterans set, how one of these guys couldn't forget something. Let me look at the Veterans set real quick, because we're not going to get it for a while. This aging general could not die, nor did he have anywhere to fade away. Maybe it's in the Japanese? Let me look at that. No, that's the same. So is it the standard? Okay. The commander's standard says, even after his lord was fled, Commander O'Neill continued to brandish this flag in the devastation of the rot-eaten field of battle, the sole veteran who remembers this battle with pride. So it seems like he's resistant to the Scarlet Rot, since he's able to remember things. And that'll like tie into what Gowry says about Millicent more in a little bit. So I guess I got ahead of myself there. Run away. I should have just used Torrent for that. I got lucky there. Let's not get got by all of his boys now. Just YOLO it. Whew. I might have actually died if that thing hit me. I don't know how hard it hits. Veteran standard. Okay, so that's slightly different. And the unalloyed gold needle. So, a beaten red battle standard is furled around this time-worn halberd. Even after his lord was fled, Commander O'Neill continued to brandish this flag in the devastation of the rotten-eaten field of battle, the sole veteran who remembers this battle with pride. Okay, so that part is definitely the same. Okay, even the top. So that's the exact same, which is cool. So I might be able to show this off, maybe not. Oh, I still have... I know why I took so much damage. I forgot to take that off. So why can't I equip this? Because of the strength requirement, of course. I'm a weakling. I might be able to show it off, maybe not. But as I was saying, like in Stormveil, the standard of this, I guess I don't have like a pause, is what you can see in a few of the things. Wait, it looked like I was actually able to use that weapon art somehow. Oh, it's because I was two-handing. I forgot you could do that with strength things. I'm so smart. Remembering all these mechanics. So it's kind of hard to make out, but it does have the same appearance as like the banners on the floor in the one room with America's Mischief, and the green banners next to like the Siraj banner by the Rusty Key Door. So it's kind of one of the weirder things that I like to show off, just because I noticed it, I guess. And it is a bit different, and could lead to the interpretation that Stormveil is not what it might seem to be at first glance. Here, let me pull the chat back up. O'Neill does not feel like a name that should be in this game. Yeah. Katie's impression is that he uses wind and scarlet rot on the ground and everywhere else in Caelid. Oh, so he just uses wind, and because you're in Caelid, it creates scarlet rot? I could dig it, yeah. Because the other dude uses ice, and maybe it's because we're in the cold that we got by cold weather? Maybe. Where am I going? Okay, I am facing the right way. The DLC had better have a third commander brother. Three brothers. Oh shit. Let's not talk to him yet. Let's actually look at the needle because I forgot about that. So like I said, you can walk away from NPCs to stop their dialogue, and they will continue it as though you hadn't talked to them. Thankfully. So the unalloyed gold needle, this is the broken one. An ivory-colored needle found in Eonia Swamp. It possesses the power to suppress millennia's rot. However, it cannot be used in its current state. Perhaps Gowry can help. So this is cool because it calls it ivory, which helps connect the concept of ivory to the ivory dagger, which you can find in the Albinorc village behind Albus. So, ivory isn't really mentioned at all beyond that, and it's like, why do the Albinorcs have it, even though they're looking for Miquella? But now I can kind of see that connection. So, before the unalloyed gold needle gets golden, it's ivory? It's white? I don't know. I'm going to have to think about that a bit more, maybe. Commander McNeil? Yeah.
Oh, you found the unalloyed gold needle. As promised, I've detailed the secret of Celia right here. Go on. It's yours.
Celia's secret note.
Now let me have a look at the needle. Well, this is a marvel indeed. The work of a true artisan, a meticulous, bold craftsman who grasps the essence of life.
So I wanted to stop it there because I think that dialogue is very telling. And even though I treat most character dialogue with skepticism and I treat it as like secondhand sources of information, nonetheless, I find that Miquella potentially grasping the truest essence of life being on display through the unalloyed gold needle is pretty big in trying to explain what gold might be in this kind of universe. So if unalloyed gold or pure gold is like just straight up life, that would make a lot of sense to me. But I don't necessarily know if there's meant to be a difference between will and life and spirit and life, and or will plus spirit equaling life, I guess. Why is it called unalloyed and not pure gold? It's a lot smoother to say. Because unalloyed gold sounds more refined. I guess both figuratively and literally. It's because it's like one word. Like pure gold, it doesn't necessarily come across the same way, I guess. I don't know. But as good a question as any, I think.
Can you give me some time with this? As well made as it is, it won't be much use snapped in half, will it?
Oh, damn it. I guess I did ruin his dialogue.
As well made.
Fudge. Okay. So he gets the needle, and remember, is like broken into his ivory and all that. So we'll just reload the area. Man, I'm annoyed that I cut off his dialogue after like hyping up, hey, you can walk away from NPCs, guys. No consequences.
I have awaited your return. The needle is repaired. Now it will forestall the rotting sickness, I'm sure. Will you give it to the girl, Millicent? I will reward you in kind.
So, unalloyed gold needle version 2, electric boogaloo.
Millicent rests at the church atop the cliff beyond Celia, the town yonder. tended to by the witless pests who worship her, or rather her rotting sickness, as a god. A wretched fate, indeed. The poor girl, she never wished for any of this.
Yeah, I always like the idea of like having a skit of just like somebody playing the player character and just like seeing what they do from like the NPC's perspectives. Those things always crack me up. So it's just like turning away, then turning it back, and then them just being like, "Oh yeah, I've waited for you to return." So okay, we did get the Celia note from him. We also got the unalloyed gold needle. So this one has been repaired with what clearly looks like blood. It says an ivory-colored needle found in Ionia Swamp. It now possesses the power to suppress Millennia's rot thanks to Gowry's modifications. So it's pretty clearly blood. It might be a little bit hard to see on your screen, but at least with Beast Blood, I don't know if we have any. Yeah, Beast Blood is tinged with gold. So if it's an unalloyed gold needle, maybe it needs blood can act as a conduit to hold the gold to keep it together. Might be how it works. So let's check out our handy dandy note. The town of Celia is blocked off with magical seals. The key to breaking these seals lies in the many towers scattered across the town. Lighting the candlesticks atop the towers will cause the seals to break one by one. So that one's pretty straightforward. I thought there was like another note. Maybe this is like a world note that says like the source is hidden in Celia. So I might like need to do some digging around for that, because the source is just the exact same term as the primeval current in Japanese. It's Genyu, and I've mentioned that a couple times on my videos. Ooh, damn, they did some damage. Oh yeah, I did pick up Mikkela's Lily before, but I don't think I ever looked at it. So right now I'm just kind of looking for the notes. Maybe it's on top of the stairs or something like that. Or if anything, it might be in front of the boss room. If it exists at all. Yeah, so normally we can't go to get Millicent, so that's why I went through the back way with Maliketh. Because this is the only way through, unless you go, I guess, I'm lying. You can totally jump over, like, to the Dragon Barrow side. Forget what I'm saying. So anyway, I may as well unlock this guy right here. So these are Nox buildings. You can kind of tell by the flowers on the windows that are, like, shuttered. The little thing underneath the lamp, it has like the top of like the crypt chair. You can see like the leaf stems on it, kind of. It's a little bit hard to make out, but that is the same symbol. And these flames are blue, which is kind of interesting. Maybe they're supposed to be like white flames of Ghost Flame, but I don't know. I don't really know if it actually has any significance, but these are just the kinds of things that I pay attention to at times. Yeah, let me check over here. Wait, you can just walk in? Oh, it's because I lit that one. That's right. I thought you needed to unlock all three to open them. Nah, so it's just Gowry's clue to gather them all. They seem like Glintstone Flame. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel about them. So does anybody else know if there's a note in here that says anything about like the secret of Celia? Because I don't ever remember actually seeing it, but I've seen the text for it in the files, so that's mostly why I ask. It's not that big a deal though. Poison Bloom. So yeah, in this version of the game, the Staff of Loss also is not where it should be. I'll go back up to the top of the stairs and then jump across to show that. Stella B says, pure gold is too soft to do anything with. Maybe it's just something that seems gold. You mean like the pure gold or like the unalloyed gold? So that's why he has to use blood? You think Gowry gives it to me? So I already got the no from him. Maybe there's like another one. There should be like another one. I done goofed. That's annoying. Explosive stone clump. I have enough runes to level up. When did I get that many? Oh, from O'Neill. A seal was broken in town somewhere. I hate the little marionettes. They're persistent. The Staff of Loss got the Staff of Lost. Yeah. So normally the Staff of Loss is on that building over there, if I can show it off. It's on one of the rooftops over here. But there is still the little beetle. And those are all three of the seals, so the door leading towards Millicent is now open. I forgot that guy teleported. That sucks. Why is he glowing so much? Oh, because he's holding like the glintstone cuckoo things. Oh lord, I'm scared. Okay, he's back in the original spot. Why? Bruh. He just like didn't want to take my command. Well, I'll be... Please. There we go. Oh my god. So that one's a dual slash, I think, in retail, instead of slashing combo. And so we don't have like the Staff of Loss in that little alcove, I think it is. So now we can go loot our treasure in Celia with all the doors open. This one should be the imbued key. We also have 2 patrollers, maybe. Okay, this one's Spelldrake, Talisman. Do we ever see Gowry's true body? I don't think so. Like, if you kill him, he will turn into like one of the Kindred of Rot, but it seems like he's probably just possessing their body, which is a person that I tend to forget about in terms of like talking about body possessions, because like we bring up Hyetta and the others pretty frequently, but not Gowry. He's kind of easy to overlook. Imbued sword key. It's behind the other tower in retail. So we still have the painting and the one other thing. I always forget what this one is. Night Dart. Oh yeah, this one's pretty cool. Let's get our painting on. Redmane. Okay. I'm going to heal up. I'm going to go fight the Nox. Then see Millicent. And before he's the Avatar of the Rock God. Maybe that's why he thinks all the other kindred are foolish. Yeah, after you complete it, he can be killed permanently. But it's weird and feels anticlimactic. It doesn't really feel like he could die, to be honest. He just kind of gives up. He gets the Padme treatment, essentially. What if Gowry is the god of rot itself, but he's just playing it cool? Too late, Christina. I said that in the time of the lag. You're taking my ideas now. No, it's all good. I think it'd be kind of funny, but I don't know. A little bit disappointing. Oh yeah, so we got the Nox Swordsman and the Nox Priest. They have flowing weapons, most likely made from silver tears. And are just like two normal mobs. But at the scaling point of this, or like at this point in the game, due to scaling, they're kind of like mini bosses. Which is kind of like cool in Elden Ring, but also kind of disappointing. Because these things are pretty lackluster as bosses. I mean, obviously, like, I'm cheesing a lot with, like, Hoarfrost Step, but I'm also underleveled. So it would be more difficult if I was doing it legitimately, but screw that. Nox Flowing Sword. And now we should get either Lusat or Azure Staff. I forget who's who all the time. Lusat's Glintstone Staff. Sweet. I can equip it too. And it's lighter. Staff made from blue crystal overflowing with magic. A catalyst for casting glintstone sorceries. Sorceries must be memorable. There's nothing. That's unfortunate. Alright. And then the flowing sword. A grim weapon wielded by swordsmen of the Eternal Cities. This Shotel has a blade as fine as a needle. Forged from the liquid metal from which silver tears originate, it is thoroughly tempered until hardened. So, skill of Silver Whip. Cool beans. I think it's a little bit different because it says like the swordsman. Yeah, swords of women, as Katie points out. Rock God beaten by a swordsman imitating a river, weak sauce. 1.0 shenanigans, yeah. Alright. I'm going to stick with the digger staff because it just kind of looks better for the samurai outfit, I think. Got to get a little bit of her fashion in there. We can just teleport back over to Millicent, so we may as well. I don't think I read these yet, so I'll probably need to do that, as well as like look at Mikola's Lily. Right, we have a statue of America there, which, you know, big surprise. Oh yeah, I guess I could have talked to Millicent first up here, but I don't remember if that interferes with her invasion. She like asks who we are.
Who's there?
But in a different way.
It matters not. If you are wise, you will leave immediately. My flesh writhes with scarlet rot. It is a curse. Not to be meddled with by man.
Actually, maybe they changed it. I feel like once she got invaded by her, she doesn't ask like who's there. I think she says like, "Oh, it's you." I might be wrong though. I'm not gonna give it because I don't think she says anything different, but just in case.
If you are wise, you will leave immediately. My flesh writhes with scarlet rot. You ask that I stab myself with the needle to quell the scarlet rot. But how? Never mind. I've decided I would rather trust you than simply continue to spoil from within. Would you mind averting your eyes for a moment? Well, that was easier than expected. But why do I feel so...
So, giving her the needle gives her an injection of willpower to resist the scarlet rot. This will start to infuse her with memories, potentially from millennia. So it might be that Gowry repaired the gold needle with Millennia's blood, and that might be why Millicent gains Millennia's will and feels the need to return it. I don't really know for sure. I think that seems fairly likely with all that we know of her. Nice way to avoid making another animation, yeah. So, as Katie asks, am I going to change my drip sometime in the playthrough? I might. If anything, I would probably just put like the Raging Wolf set on. Or, like maybe a full set of like Clean Rot Knight armor if I ever get it. So yeah, she falls asleep. We can just go to rest and then she'll be all better. She's in a bit of a different pose. Actually, I don't remember her being angled like that, to be honest.
I hoped to see you again. My apologies for when last we met. I fainted before I could even thank you. Everything is as you said. Since inserting the needle, the scarlet rot has ceased to writhe. Even the nightmares have abated. And now, though I can scarcely believe it myself, I can move as I please. Not that I could ever truly repay you, but I would like you to have this, by way of thanks. A token though it is.
Prosthesis wearer's heirloom. Yeah, and Estella says it does make it seem way creepier the way that she injects it. Let's check out our heirloom. A talisman engraved with a scene from a heroic tale raises dexterity. Though sickly from birth, when the young girl encountered her mentor and his flowing blade, she gained wings of unparalleled strength. So it looks like both of the people in this talisman have prostheses on. So, as we know, this is most likely a reference to like the blue cloth warrior. When we get the curved sword talisman, I'm pretty sure that's like the depiction of what would be her mentor, but we don't actually get the direct confirmation anywhere. You're big man, you can't say forget Millennia and run away together with Millicent. She's a good girl.
I'm considering leaving. On a journey. With the needle buried in my flesh, I've started to recall, but dimly, my destiny. It's all thanks to you. My name is Millicent. I pray fate permits us meet again.
So yeah, Gowry told us that the Scarlet Rot erodes one's memories, and now that we've given Millicent the needle, she's regaining her memories and or Millennia's memories. So just kind of throwing the idea that memory could be tied to willpower with the gold needle and everything. So just keep that in mind going on. All right, Katie, thanks for dropping in, and you take care.
I'm considering with the needle buried in my destiny.
All right, so we'll rest again. She should be gone, and she should be at Gowry's shack next. Okay, so let's go that way. Gowry's shack is always like a little bit out of the way. I kind of wish they put a Side of Grace there, but there'd also be a ton in Celia. So if they just like moved the one in it there, it probably would have been for the best, I think. But I digress. Oh no, I aggroed the dog? Okay, I was like, I don't even know how. So Gowry is gone. Millicent still has no arm, obviously, but she's up and moving around.
Oh, hello again. Something about this place felt familiar to me, so I decided to pay a visit. Hoping to find someone here, but I've only found emptiness. Perhaps, before my departure, I needed someone to say farewell to. Well, never mind that. I must focus on my journey, for which I have you to thank. I must stay strong. Well, I must find...
Alright, so that's enough of Millicent there. We'll go ahead and load out and load back in, and then Gowry should be back to give us some more dialogue.
Thank you kindly for giving the needle to Millicent. Now she too can begin her journey and stare her fate straight in the eye. You've been a saint through and through. As thanks, I vow to impart to you my knowledge of the lost sorceries of the Sellians, descendants of the Eternal.
So, Descendants of the Eternal is obviously supposed to be a reference to the Eternal Cities. So we can tell him that Millicent paid a visit.
Oh, you noticed, did you? Indeed, Millicent did visit this hovel of a home. It seems the memories eaten away by the rotting sickness yet remain, but faintly. However, she has no need of me anymore. No. She must embark on her journey and stare her fate in the eye. I mustn't impede. As I've aged, I've found the best way to aid the young is to be forgotten.
Kind of tragic. So we get glintstone stars. A glintstone sorcery discovered at the Rayalukari Academy fires highly directable magic shooting stars. This sorcery can be cast repeatedly and while in motion, blah blah blah. An ancient sorcery thought to be close to the primeval current itself. Night Shard fires a silent glintstone arrow. Silver Mist of Nokron creates mist that eats away at HP, as opposed to the Night Maiden's Mist in the retail build of the game. I'm definitely going to pick this one up because it can be pretty powerful in the right circumstances. Oh yeah, I can actually use sorceries. I should probably buy like most of these. I actually don't even really know what's strong. Oh, I should go back to get like the Terra Magica stuff now that I think about it. It's all good.
Do you have an interest in rot incantations? Then you might like to learn something of the history of Malenia, goddess of scarlet rot.
Reza, welcome into the stream. You said, so Sellians could be Scions of the Eternal City as told by Roger. Yeah. All three of those are solid spells? Cool. Alright, thank you, Christina. You take care. And hopefully we'll see you next time. So now he has a lot more to say about Malenia, and this stuff is actually really important, if I'm remembering correctly.
Queen Marika and her king consort Radagon were blessed with twin demigods, and Malenia was one of them. She was born an Empyrean carrying the scarlet rot. An Empyrean is no mere demigod. As the age of the Elden Ring and Queen Marika was reaching its end, the precious Empyrean was born, a new god to forge a new order. Since Malenia fought Radahn, and the great scarlet flower blossomed in Aeonia, I have dedicated myself to her, and to the resplendence of the Order of Rot, the cycle of decay and rebirth.
So that's a little bit different in retail. Obviously, there's the mismatch between the subtitle text and the actual dialogue there, with him saying the end of the age of the Elden Ring and Queen Marika or something like that. Aside from that, Gowry gives us the most exposition on what an Empyrean is and states that like Malenia was born as an Empyrean, and since she's a twin demigod, that also implies that Miquella is an Empyrean, which I don't really know why people doubt, to be honest. But Miquella should be understood as an Empyrean. as Ronnie also kind of confirms what Gowry lays out here. So it's really just Gowry and Ronnie's dialogue, which gives us any real glimpse into the differences between an Empyrean and a normal demigod. And that's about all he has to say on that. So
Please make certain that little Millicent goes unharmed. Like her mother, she has the stuff to be a great warrior, but commands only one arm and is yet preciously young.
that's it. I think if we reload, he might start to give us incantations, since we bought all the sorceries. So let's just try that real quick. And I don't remember if he says anything if you buy all his incantations either.
Ah, welcome, welcome. How may I help?
Alright, so it looks like that's all we can do for now. So maybe we can't buy her out incantations. Maybe that'll get progressed more as we go through her quest, I would hope. So let me think. We did Millicent A. We did Alexander B. So we could go to Redbane next, but we'll probably leave that there for now. Millicent. So the next time she'll appear would be in the ruin-strewn precipice and the Altus Plateau area, the Erdtree Gazing Hill. So I think that's pretty much all the NPC stuff for now, except for the Black Knife Catacombs. So we'll head there next. Alright, so yeah, I think I'll just go through the catacombs real quick and then end the stream after that and pick it up with like the Roger stuff following that tomorrow. Or no, maybe I should end it here because then all that stuff could stay together. So what could I do instead? I think I'll just go get the last map of Caelid and then reload, or not reload, read all of the map descriptions that I can. Oh yeah, this thing isn't gonna bleed. I actually need to kill it. I was trying to like backstab it, but I obviously missed. Okay. With how important Rot was, you'd think there'd be more than 2 incantations, yeah. I really like the pest one, but man, it feels like the actual pest hit way harder with it than the incantation we get. Or like if we could cast it more on the fly, that'd be super cool. Oh yeah, I need to equip my sorceries and try using them sometime. Because I don't do that. I have all this int because I'm smart, right? No, that's a bad spot for it. This is probably the best angle. Unfortunate, but true. Still can't use the phalanx thing. Wow, that requires a lot of intelligence. All right. So, like, the Night Maiden's Mist is really good for like super big things that don't move a lot. Like the Erdtree avatars are pretty good. It will constantly stun and stagger the Iron Maidens. Wait, why is this one gold? Oh, because it should have an incantation. flame scour them. I totally forgot that was there. And a caravan. Don't mind if I do. Ah, I guess the game minds if I do. Stars is busted OP? Okay. I can also cast some things from horseback, can't I? Not like that. Oh lord, I'm getting got. Oh yeah, so now I can deal with things at range. Oh yeah, these things can all hurt each other. Yeah, the crows are kind of more difficult to deal with just because they don't get hit properly by the stomp. Oh, I thought it died. It's 5 HP. The fire killed it or the dog did? I wasn't even really trying to fight these things so much as like screw around with magic. That's not too bad. Obviously, I think it could probably be better on my part. Oh, I didn't get a flask for that. Okay. And isn't there treasure over here? Explosive bolts. It's whatever. We'll hop on over. I'm not going to deal with those dogs as best I can. The funny thing is, like, one of the things that I missed in my first playthrough is actually this Evergaol over here. The one up there, rather. But there's a site. Okay, there we go. Once we pick up the Dragon Barrow thing, I might take us to the foot of the Divine Tower. Just to get the warp there ready. Just need to follow the path. Okay, I see it. Dragon Barrow. Yeah, so my first playthrough, I came this way pretty early. I think I might have came through like the Maliketh way, and then I like explored the Divine Tower before dealing with Rodan and all that stuff. Probably be better off with the Twin Blade right now. So I think I fought the Godskin Nobles, yeah, like level 42. So about like where I am now. Or not Noble, the Apostle. And that was not a fun time. That thing kicked the crap out of me. It actually made me break down and like level up my skeleton militiamen. Because before I was just being stubborn and not trying to like level up anything too much. What am I? Okay, this is the wrong way. Do I just jump around it? We'll see. I'll figure it out. Or I'll fall to my death. Nope, that was definitely the wrong way. It's a little bit nerve-wracking going around this Divine Tower. Oh, so I wanted the first ladder. Okay. But I feel like I do need to go down this one. And then around that way. Rune of Death should upgrade your Black Flame spells. Yeah, that'd be really cool. You understand why Black Flame doesn't stack, but that'd be fun. Yeah, and I wish that there was like a stronger Black Flame incantation, one that like lasted longer. Or if there were other weapons other than like the Godslayer's Greatsword with Black Flame on it. Yeah, this is the one that I wanted. Uh-oh, okay. It's always a little bit nerve-wracking actually dismounting Torrent, because it doesn't like drop you exactly where you are. You're a little bit off-center because of its body. So the Divine Towers are also cool. Like, I don't know exactly what they're made out of. They don't really match anything else. They kind of look like the little pillars that like support the continents in the lands between, but they also really don't. Yeah, 11 seconds is crazy short for a weapon buff. Only truly useful on Giants or high New Game Plus cycles. Is it even really that good on those New Game Plus cycles? Like, if it's something that you could, like, buff as you swing, I could see it. But not really, though. This really makes me want to explore this tower now, but I'll leave it be. Alright. So, I think now I will teleport back to the Black Knife Catacomb. I'll read our descriptions and end it for there. Oh, I know why I can't talk to Gideon. I need to actually level up my Great Rune. Okay, yeah. I forgot about that. Okay. So, well, maybe I should put myself over there then. Yeah, because I'll probably forget otherwise. Whereas like this, anytime I go to the round table hold, I'll see like D and Roger and be like, oh yeah, you need to do that. Something about the Divine Towers reminds you of the Forge of the Fire Giants. Yeah, I think they're similar, but they're also a little bit different. A stunning revelation, I know. But I think like the Forge of the Fire Giants was like, I wish I had the free cam. So like the little area between the Weeping Peninsula and like Limgrave, you can see like the little pillars holding like the cliffs up. I think those are the same kind of pillars in the Flame of the Fire Giants, or like in the Forge of the Fire Giants, as well as like in the Ruin-strewn Precipice is another good example of that. But I don't know if the Divine Towers are supposed to be the same. If not, they're very similar. So it's hard to say. Wait, no master and key items, aren't they? Yeah, okay. So we checked out these ones. Map of Realicaria, Rhaenyr's western region, so Caelid Wilds and Environs. Map of Dragon Hill and Environs. So that is a little bit different with the Dragon Barrow thing. So nothing else too crazy with the maps yet. For those who weren't in the other streams, the Limgrave East one is very interesting. It says it's the map of the eastern region of Tenebrae. The domain of Tenebrae, far south of the capital, stands vigil before the vast sea of fog. Radigan's warning is yet told and retold, that one day the Tarnished led into war will cross the sea of fog and return, for the Elden Ring. And that's like the biggest change, and I also like to show off the Liurnian ones because it's called Rhaenyr, which is kind of a funny transliteration difference. Okay, so for everyone who's stopped in, lurked, and commented, once again, thank you very much for watching. We will be going live again at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so I hope I can catch you guys on the next stream, and see you next time. Take care. Last protagonist,